Salute, and welcome. Welcome back over to the Black Ocean. You're now swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you are all having a wonderful Friday. You can't wait to enjoy your weekend. And here I am putting this hideous monstrosity, Burly Pearly, on the screen. Oh, I know. It is hard to look at because she's just as hideous on the inside as she is on the outside. And unfortunately, we have to address a couple of things because you have some people that are actually ignorant enough to still not understand that this is a white supremacist and anti-black racist, because the minute that you sit up on your show and kiki and kaka with a well-known one like Nick Fuentes, then you are fellow travelers in the same anti-black racist ideology. But family, as many of you have already seen now, she has come back out the last couple of days, and it's the Pearl strikes back. Oh yes, the Putrid Pearl has struck back at everybody that called her out on her anti-black racism and white supremacist ways. And she, like all Karens and alabastresses, she is pissed. Oh, she is angry. She is furious because, see, her behavior is typical of what the Karen class does. And she said she Karens it better than anyone else out of her own mouth. Okay, nobody's taking her words out of context. We ain't gonna take nothing out of context here tonight because, see, a lot of people have had their take on this. I'm gonna break it down from a Southern Georgia man's perspective because, see, I understand these creatures better than they do themselves. And let me be clear, because you know some of our people, they just don't understand that when you're talking about white supremacists, you're not talking about all white people. If you're a white person and this doesn't apply to you, then I'm not talking to you. But since you didn't check your fellow alabasters, I expect you to be just as quiet as you were then, because we're going to handle some good old-fashioned black business over here. Since you wants to mind black people's business so much, pay attention to our affairs. We're going to pay attention to her affairs, and we're going to break some things down because, see, what's most important to me, ladies and gentlemen, is that younger black people that are not as well-versed on history as those of us who are older understand how dangerous these pieces of shit like her are. Little albino Gila monster-looking motherfucker. I'm telling you, man, I got to see it once again. I'm not interested in her kind, but if I was, let me tell you something, boy, having to come home and look at this, there's no way you can fix that. I already told you. If you look like that, I approve plastic surgery. You need a head transplant. But hey, look, I'm gonna leave that alone. We're gonna have plenty of time to work on Miss Ann here because, see, family, I would have left well enough alone with this, but every now and again I will watch certain people's takes on things and I'll be like, okay, nah. You left a couple things out. We got to mention this. So that's what we're going to do over here tonight. Like I said, everybody's entitled to their take and viewpoint on things. But when I see something that's missing, I'm going to address it on my platform because we have some misnomers to clear up as well here tonight. But before we do that, let me greet my esteemed guests that are joining us over here tonight. Let me scroll up to the top of the chat room and I see Ty Mo over here. Oh, man, salute to my soldier there, Project Leroy. Salute, brother. Sidonian Snow in the house. Okay, to stay woke, I see you. Sister Pam is jamming. Hey, glad you're back over here. Hadn't seen you in a minute, sister. Sharia Thomas, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, sister. Welcome. CRU Reality. Again, if you need a customized computer built or some custom beats, this is the man to see. Please go and subscribe to his channel. Black Empowerment in the building. All right, I like that name. That's what I'm talking about. Michael Williams, what's going on, my brother? A little country lamb in the house. I see you. Dwayne Williams over here. Urban Survival Network. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. You got the right name in here, brother. That's what it's all about today. Only Pamela's Way. I see you. Just Jerry Carroll. Salute. Welcome to Creative World Films and everyone else that'll be joining us over here tonight. Because, see, family, here's the thing when you're dealing with anti-black racists like this. You have a segment of our people, the coon class, that are willfully ignorant. They think just because somebody's not running around saying nigga all the time, that means, well, she ain't no anti-black racist or white supremacist. And then you have people stupid enough to bring up the fact, well, how can she be a racist if she employed black people? Now, don't you let people like that fool you for 1 second. Because you can look around in America today, you see plenty of corporations that employ black people, but look at Elon Musk, for example. Stone cold white supremacist. You've seen all the issues he's had legally with people filing lawsuits against him for discrimination, et cetera, et cetera. So when they try to fall back on that's them being willfully ignorant. But see, tonight, this broadcast is going to help you understand that you're going to have to separate from certain people. There's certain people that you just can't help. It is what it is. Everybody ain't going to make it. They choose to be blind to things. And when you play with white supremacy and anti-black racism as a black person, you basically got a death wish, okay? So we're going to break that a lot more down here today, because before we get underway, one more issue I want to address is some good news, okay? Some good news. Let me put this on the screen. Let me take this banner down so everybody can see this. Let me make this a bit wider here. Yeah, I want everybody to be able to see this. Hold on. Let me make sure that you can see. All right, here we go. All right, now, directing your attention to the screen, I hope everybody can see that. If not, I shall make it bigger. This is Corinne Fox. And for those that who do not know this is one of Jamie Foxx's daughters. Okay, I'm not sure how many he has, but I know this is his daughter. As you can see, that's her official Instagram story there. So we all know that our brother was going through a hard time in the hospital, what have you. And a lot of these goofy white run and tether run media outlets were just throwing all kinds of foolishness out there. So now this is his daughter making this statement. Okay, this is his daughter making this statement because, see, they put this crap out talking about his loved ones are expecting the worst. Turns out what the truth is, the update from the family, and as you see, this is his daughter. She says, sad to see how the media runs wild. My dad has been out of the hospital for weeks recuperating. In fact, he was playing pickleball yesterday. Thanks for everyone's prayers and support. So now, in case you have not heard, you heard it here. Okay. Jamie Foxx, our good brother, is recovering. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I don't wish ill on anybody. I understand that there was speculation that he might have, took the medical procedure. We'll call it that. But whatever the case may be, I'm always glad when one of our people is doing well. So all these rumors and crap that's going around about that, you can dispel that. As you see, that's his daughter. She has no reason to lie. So now you don't have to keep worrying about that or keep believing that crap. And see, family, let's get back to something here regarding that, because those are mostly white run media outlets or the tether run. And see, this is how you can tell. Notice that with the tether class, they adopt the same mentality as the white supremacists. Anything for a click or a view. You should not be following media outlets like that if you value your mind and integrity, okay? I block crap like that. I don't follow any of it, okay? We got to start making sure that we operate in this manner. Just as you are what you eat, you are what you think. You've heard me say that many times, okay? So make sure that you clear your brain of any brain rotting that foolishness. If you don't hear something official from the family or it's been confirmed in some type of way, don't buy into that foolishness, okay, family? So now that we've gotten that out the way, we're going to get into what we got to address here tonight about the putrid pearl. Because, see, as I've told you many times, family, if their little thin, pale lips are moving, the children of the chalk are lying. Yes, we are going to deal with the children of the chalk because they refuse to deal with each other. See, I'm like this. As I said, I like to mind my own black business until you start jumping over into our affairs. I've said it many times, and it's not just Pearl, because let's be clear. Pearl is just one of many. I'm talking about the DJ Vlads and the Cardi B's, whoever else. If you are not in Black American society, particularly foundational Black American society, I don't need your input on no issues we got. See, one thing that I would never do, I don't care whether I have issues that I address about our women or our men or the coon class amongst us. I'm not going to include white folks in that. That's family business. However we decide to handle that's how we handle it. See, that's one of the main problems that we have when we try to work out our issues. them people know that if they leave us the hell alone, we'll straighten everything out. Nope, they come interjecting and see that. Take a look at this mayonnaise encrusted piece of toast that you have up here, because this is the icon of the children of the chalk, the COC. That's right, they got a gang, the COC, children of the chalk. This is how they look when black people tend to go ahead and have to correct them. It's their fault. If you check your own mayonnaise, folks, we won't have to say nothing. But see, since y'all want to play like y'all don't see her, we gonna handle business over here tonight. And see, her face has been looking like this because she is furious. She's furious at a lot of people that have called her out. And we're gonna deal with a lot of her classist statements over here tonight, but we're also going to tell some truth straight down the middle and point out a couple of things too about why this was allowed to get to this point in the first place. So now that you know what to expect, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've ruined your Friday by starting off with these hideous images, but we got to do this because we got to protect our people, the ones that have some common sense. So with that said, we're going to get into analyzing some of her recent statements. And child of the chalk, Pearly, before we get started, fair use. Fair use. Don't you dare come over here and try it. You're already in trouble, so you can't afford too many more false copyright claims or they're going to take that little channel. It would be a shame if you work that hard to get those million subscribers, most of them coons, and then you have to lose your little channel with your shrinking and declining views. Oh, yes, I know it hurts. You finna get this work tonight. You finna get it. So, family, no ado here. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Prepare to put your thinking caps on because we're going to dissect everything about her rhetoric over here tonight. Let's get started. And you know what? Here's the thing. I almost forgot to address this. I'm glad that I put this in here because this just reminded me of something. Family, and salute to, let's see here. Who's that? Let me go and monitor this. Salute to LaShawn Harris for the cash out. Thank you very much. My brother or sister, I'm not sure which. Please don't take offense because sometimes I cannot tell with certain people's names. So brother or sister, either one, thank you very much. Please do clarify in the chat room if you're in here. No offense. I couldn't, because sometimes that could go either way, okay? But I meant to point this out to you. For those of you that don't know, what you're looking at on your screen here, the man on the left, his name is Obsidian Mumir Ali. And he has been one of Miss Ann's biggest defenders. He's over there in the Black Manosphere face. And you see on the right, that is none other than Nick Fuentes, okay? Now, this was a screenshot from one of his recent live streams, which is still up on his channel, where none other than Nick Fuentes popped in there during the live stream, and oh, he was just tickled pink to talk to him. Now, he made his positions clear from the little bit that I seen, because I did not watch the whole thing. But he made his positions clear that he disagreed with his statements about the Holocaust, et cetera, et cetera. But then proceeded to start talking to this man in the same manner that he did Pearl. See, let me tell you something, right? Let me keep it 100. The problem with guys like the brother Obsidian over there, and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, they're over there in that Black Manosphere space. They're mostly black conservatives. And then they have these issues against women, which we all acknowledge. Yes, our women have problems. So do our men. It's not one-sided. Our problems are bi-directional. We have to get our shit together as a collective. They get so enamored with that. And then when you hear somebody like Miss Chalky Things over here, Just Pearly, a.k.a. Miss Ann, get the picking up the talking points because basically she stole everything from Kevin Samuels and several other people and start parroting that crap. They look at that as, okay, as long as she's carrying the line and towing our talking points, this is somebody I need to ally with. The problem with that is you might have been okay with that. And I'm not just speaking to Obsidian, but all the other brothers over there in the Manosphere that tend to back Pearl after the statements that she made. Because I saw some of them was like, okay, that's a bridge too far. Okay. But problem is when this woman came out and started saying that slavery was embellished, and start making the statements that she made in light of a lot of her behavior that we're going to analyze here tonight, if you are a black person with any type of integrity, you would think you would distance yourself from her. But again, I've said it. You got some people, man, as intelligent as he is, because let's be clear, whether you like him or not, Obsidian is not a dumb guy, okay? And see, this is further condemnation on people like him because he's one of many that have the type of intellect that they have, but then they try to gaslight, and be willfully ignorant of certain things when it comes to anti-black racism and white supremacy, okay? See, that's something I know not to play around with, because see, down here in the South, that will cost you your life. See, you might, well, you know what? I can't even say that, because look at what happened to our good brother Jordan Neely. A white supremacist caught him off guard, and he, you know, that brother wasn't bothering anybody. He was somebody that was in need of help. So I started to say that you might have some leeway in the metro areas, but no, that would be incorrect of me to say that. But I'm going to tell you one thing I do know for certain. When you're down here in the South, that costs you your life not paying attention to what's going on with racism and white supremacy. And see, guys like Obsidian, they are enamored by the white conservatives, okay? They want their favor. They want to fit in with them. They want to show you they're so much more different than other black people, to the point that you ignore the threat right in front of your face. And see, I'm going to tell you something. I don't wish bad on anybody, but one day, the time is going to come when people like him are going to be in a situation where they try to pull that crap, and those white supremacists are going to show them that they're not playing games. The only person that is fooled about racism and white supremacy is the black person that pretends it doesn't exist or that things are exaggerated. See, think back to Lee Atwater. When he came out with the Southern strategy, he changed the game, and they built upon that ever since. So it's gone from not just outright calling you the N-word to your face. They've codified their language, and then they've started hiding it behind other types of rhetoric, okay? So I'm just saying, man, I'm going to leave that there. Y'all can go and see it over there on his channel. It's still up as far as I know. He actually interviewed Nick Fuentes, and Nick turned his camera on to prove that it was him, as you see. So, I mean, it's just sad, man, when you get to that age and you willfully overlook something that's the greatest threat to your people's lives. See, it doesn't matter how much of a front you put on, how well you dress, how much money you have, education, what neighborhood you live in, car you drive. You're still the N-word to them people. And they trust the Sambo class even less, because they're like, okay, if you willfully go against your own people, I'll use you, but I can't trust you. People like him have yet to figure that out. But we're going to leave that alone and go ahead and get into these statements here, because family, hold on to your hats. The stuff that she's about to say, yeah. I mean, some of y'all would have expected it, but she's really going to cross some boundaries here tonight. Let's go ahead and get started.
You know what I did? I decided to apologize. I decided to apologize and see, would the people be happy?
I don't want to talk to this bitch, so I put her in the primary. She going to general.
And by the way, this sets the tone for Just Pearly Things. She spends this entire time acting like a dumb ditzy blonde.
Do I think she's a grifter? Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I don't think she believes half the stuff that she says that comes out of her mouth. Her friends, her family, don't believe a lot of the stuff that she says.
It's about her being culturally white.
I don't know. You just see the switch up being done over the last 2 years, and it's been fascinating to see the kind of idle conscious
unacceptable, in the narrative. Do we remember on the we talk about her blonde hair, and this is why, guys, never apologize to the mob, because they don't want your apology, they don't care about you, and they just want to see if they can control you. What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel, and welcome to Selective Outrage. So today, I'm going to be talking about how the internet gets selectively outraged. So if you guys are familiar with the Fresh and Fit and Abba and Preach videos, Myron, maybe like a year ago now, he had a video go viral. And I mean stupid viral, of him insulting Preach's wife. Ab and Preach are another YouTube channel, and they do reaction videos.
This Preach is married, probably to a fucking beluga somewhere, and you're just talking shit.
At first glance, you might think that Myron is crazy. I mean, why is this man insulting Preach's wife? And when they do the reaction videos, they really don't tell the full story. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, is a lot of times what you see with these reaction channels is they take a clip of a full conversation. And a lot of reaction channels are looking for clips to take you out of context and not give the full story, and they are lying to you. Now,
Now, let's go ahead and deal with that right off the rip. We all know about fluke and fraud, okay? And I'm familiar with Alvin Preacher's content. From what I understand, there are actually 2 comedians that are up there in Canada. But I got to throw them all into the class because, see, I've heard them also making statements and denying that this putrid piece of filth on our screen here is not an anti-black racist or white supremacist. We've already covered the why. The problem that I have is you messed up when you put anybody from the new black media in there into the category and call us reaction channels. Now, my good brother and esteemed colleague, Jason Black, can speak for himself, and he has already. Okay, he needs no one to defend him. Trust me, if that's a person that is fully capable of defending himself. Here's the issue that I have, though. None of us over here in the black media, we are not reaction channels. We don't show you things and go, oh, wow, look at that. Oh, my God. Let me tell you something. Every platform over here in the new black media, you all know who they are. We are classrooms. If we're showing you a clip of something, it is because we're expounding upon something that is most important. We don't have to sit up here and go through every inch of every live stream in order to make a point about anything pertaining to white supremacy. Okay, so now here's the other problem with white women like her, as I call them the alabasters class. They have been groomed their whole lives, because I want you to really understand the psychology of why she's about to say what she's going to say here. They have been groomed their whole lives from the time that they were little girls to get whatever they want, and whatever they say, that's what goes. They're spoiled rotten. That's part of the problem with how they are. But see, they have to raise them like that in order for them to play their role in the system of white supremacy. Unfortunately, for a lot of the white men like Rollo Tomasi, Tom Likas, and all the rest of them, that comes back to bite them in their ass, because as they get older, they adopt feminism. Now, she claims she's anti-feminist, but if you look at her behavior, it's really not that different. Again, my issue is, in this initial part of what we're reviewing, we don't do reactions. If we have to pull something that you've aired on your channel and take you to the woodshed, it's for a reason. Nobody has to take you out of context. See, let's deal with that word context too, because that's another thing that the Tether class has latched on to. If somebody plays your words and then points out things about them, just because you don't like that, nobody took you out of context. In order to take somebody out of context, you will have to add things to what they're saying that's not there, or on top of adding things to what they said that's not there, you would have to shift that and use straw man arguments against them. Everything over here you're going to see tonight, any broadcast that I've ever done on anything, I don't make straw man arguments. Y'all know my work, and I can say the same of brothers and sisters in new black media. We show you what we're talking about, provide you sources where you can go look it up for yourself, then you make your own decision. But see, there's one thing that there's no opinion or nothing to quibble over. As a black person raised in America, foundational black American on both sides of my family, I know what racism and white supremacy is when I see it. See, I'm going to tell you why she's so angry. Family, you need to understand what I've told you about social engineering and the conditioning of our people here in America. White people have been accustomed to having us not get the threat that's right in front of our faces a lot of times, okay? They get a sick, twisted pleasure out of us not recognizing danger or actually being stupid enough to ignore it and go along with what they're saying, like the older buffoon-coon class, the Thomas Souls out there. But when you're a black person that they cannot fool, let me tell you, they don't know how to handle that, because one, they're like, how dare you, Negro, oppose me? I'm white and I say so. So when you oppose that, that breaks their psyche down, because look at the world they've been conditioned to live in. And then number two, the thing that infuriates them the most, that you deny them of the pleasure of being able to gaslight you so that they can all sit around and laugh and joke at how silly you were and how they were able to fool you. See, those little sambos that she got working for them over there in the Tether class, you got them. Oh, those of us over here who are foundational black American and our own cold black immigrants, you got another thing coming. We can see you a mile away, because see, that's a protection not only for us, but for our families as well. So that's the point that I wanted to make. We don't do the reactions over here. We teach lessons. We're going to further continue to teach some lessons here tonight. Let's let this piece of trash continue.
Let's talk about Fresh and Fit. So Abba and Preach went on Fresh and Fit's podcast. And I think as a podcast host, when you have other YouTubers and you try to treat them cordially, you bring them into your studio, you introduce them to your staff, you usually, a lot of times you might be hanging out before, hanging out after, and you feel like you're at least friendly, like friends with these people. And what happened was a couple weeks later, Abba and Preach did a hit piece on Myron. And the way they did it was kind of sneaky. Like they said that, you know, we were just attacking ideas, paying for box.
And then went on dates, then found out she's on the Sugar Baby site. Then when it comes out that she's on Seeking Arrangements, then he actually makes a live stream where he's like, no, we met on Seeking. Like everything is smoke and mirrors, right? Which is fine. At the end of the day, if you want to sell an image and you got to lie to do it, do it.
Like which ones that they should use or whatever. So like these are the ones you guys got to be using, all right? You got to be using Tinder, you got to be using Bumble, you got to be using Hinge, you got to be using if you live in a Latin-based city, like we live in Miami, so Chispa is good here. You know what I'm saying? Which is a Spanish joint. You know, which it's more like for Latinos. I don't like Plenty of Fish, but I've heard some people use it with some success, and then you got OkCupid as well. But the point is that you just need to have multiple fishing rods in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, this is definitely a numbers game.
I got a homeboy
go ahead.
Cleans up on Plenty of Fish.
Yeah,
you know, he's probably listening to this right now, and they'll be some of the lowest of the low, but he does it, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you could definitely clean up on these apps, and then you got Seeking Arrangement, which is like a sugar daddy site, but like that's a whole other. We'll probably have to do a video on that.
The slimy thing was they were like passive aggressively insulting the man, and men just don't respond well to that. Like you bring someone into your studio, you treat them well, then they leave and do a whole hit piece on you saying that you're capping, say you don't get girls like that. Like I think anyone normal can see how that's disrespectful. This is the problem that we get into. It's that nobody cares about what's true because, you know, 10 million people saw Myron freaking out, but nobody saw his explanation in a stream that gets 150,000 views. And that's the problem with the culture today is you can paint an entire narrative about somebody and it not be true. You know, it wasn't like Myron insulted his wife out of thin air. Myron felt disrespected. And, you know, I don't agree with insulting someone's wife. I think that's quite rude. You know, personally with the internet, for the most part, I've learned to just ignore stuff. But at a certain point, you want to defend yourself. And a lot of times what these reaction channels do is they take clip. They paint a narrative and they don't tell the full story. And a lot of times these reaction channels haven't even done the research to make a full conclusion on the story. My point to the audience.
Now, I'm letting this play for a reason because, see, one of the things I like to do when I present something over here on my platform, I like to give it to you in a format where after you diagnose it and digest it, family, what she's doing, she's babbling and using all these other people that made claims and statements against her. But you notice who she didn't put first? Oh, we all know that. The person that pretty much put you on the front street with this, our brother Jason Black, she knew not to mention him at the beginning because, see, this is what people try to do. People like her try to do. They try to spin a narrative and then they'll put a little bit of truth in there with a whole bunch of bullshit. Now, I don't know about you, but if I've got some ice cream, I don't want no bullshit mixed in with it, okay? So, see, let me show you how this works. For people that don't have critical thinking skills, they can't spot what she's doing right away because, see, let me make it clear. Let me tell you something. If I felt like somebody misrepresented my character or they had something to say and I felt like I was going to address it, because, see, you got two options. You can either just ignore it altogether or you can go ahead and address it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to get straight to the issue. Were it me and somebody called me out on something and I felt like it was wrong, I would address that immediately, okay? I would address it immediately. I don't care who it was, okay? But see, she can't do that because, see, the first sign of a dishonest person, they got to beat around the bush instead of getting straight to the point. You see what I'm saying? See, family, especially young black men and young black people, understand that one of the main ways you can spot dishonesty with somebody is if you ask them a direct question, you know, and they beat around the bush and don't give you anything but a direct answer, straightforward back. that's somebody that you better be careful of. Because see, if you ask a direct question, you would want a direct answer, right? Okay. So now if the answer is yes, and you're a person that's business oriented like me, you don't have time for people to waste your time. You see what I'm saying? So that's something I want to point out. So that's the reason why I'm playing this, because we're going to make some several different points. So I'm just giving her time to say all of this, and then we're going to thread a couple of needles.
This is dishonest. They are lying to you, and they don't care about the truth. They care about clicks and views. So the last couple of days, oh my gosh, it has been so stressful. So I had a hit piece go out on me from, the quote unquote, the Black Manosphere. And the Black Manosphere is a very pro-Black part of YouTube. And I can't acknowledge that. I would say, some of the Black Manosphere is part of my audience. And
oh, yeah. Now, see, this is another thing that I had an issue with. Oh, yeah. No, ma'am. See, let me tell you what I'm not accustomed to doing over here with the way I was raised. I was raised, when you confront white supremacy, you have to make sure these motherfuckers know their place. And the one problem that I have with that statement she just made, it is false. See, this is what happens when you have the alabasters class trying to run the show. The Black Manosphere, the greater majority of it, will tell you they are not a pro-Black space. Let's see, hold on a second. Let me show you something. Do you think a pro-Black space would do this bullshit? And this is one of the founding fathers of the Manosphere. Okay, that's why I included this in here for a reason. You name the new Black media platform that has white supremacists on there, and we treat them with kid gloves. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Sir. And all this other bullshit. Now, I understand if you're conducting an interview with someone, you have a certain measure of professional decorum, but that is completely different from you tap dancing and bucking your eyes in front of these damn white supremacists. You don't take them to task on anything pertaining to our people, not the other people that they've said, because see, everybody can come out and say, oh, I don't agree with the statements denying the Holocaust. Okay, well, what about the embellishment of slavery? You didn't really take her to task on that. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And see, let's get something else straight about that space. The greater majority of it is Black conservative. You can be a Black conservative or have conservative views without being a damn coon, but a lot of them are. And let me make this clear. I don't care who keep running around talking about I'm pro-Black, I'm pro-Black. First of all, if you're pro-Black, you don't have to run around telling everybody that. We can see it from the work that you do online that advocates for Black people. Pro-Black people don't make statements like I'm on the fence about what happened to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Several of them have made that statement over there. Number two, if you are pro-Black, why aren't you engaged in the work that you see us do in the Black media? Because we got to get this straightened out. A lot of people have this misconstrued. This is the misnomer that we're going to clear, one of the biggest ones. Where are you bailing out Black people out of jail when they're out there producing justice in the streets? Where are you advocating for reparations? Where are you speaking out against white supremacists like the one that strangled our good brother Jordan Neely? Where are you advocating for people to be arrested? Why are you not helping people combat these injustices wherever they are? See, in other words, you look at the platforms that claim they're pro-Black and then compare them to new Black media platforms. Everything that we present you all over here is something germane and relevant to the issues of our people, not just here, but globally, okay? And let's deal with the last point. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. This applies to Black people talking about their pro-Black. Just giving somebody a job does not make your ass pro-Black. If you're not doing some of the things that I just stated earlier, how you going to call yourself pro-Black? Pro-Black isn't just talking about entertainment all the damn time. I don't care if that is what get the views. You understand me? Oh, yes. And see, another thing we're going to be addressing over here tonight, somebody put it in the chat room where she was making fun of the brother mediocre tutorials and reviews. Now, I've had my issues with his ideologies on my channel, but that's something I would never do. And trust me, I'm going to get to that, or I'm going to light her ass on fire for that. But see, we're going to also address how it was able for her to get to this point where she would feel discomfortable disrespecting you. See, young Black people, let me tell you something. How we were raised down here in the South, those of us who are Black and on code, you don't let them motherfuckers get started disrespecting you, because you give their ass an inch, they'll take a mile. They come up to you first trying to make the little jokes the little racialized joke to see if you're going to tolerate that and let that slide. And once you do, the floodgates open then. Then it'll get the physical disrespect. And then the next thing you know, now your life is in danger. See, white supremacy and anti-black racism, that's just not a difference of opinion. That is what has threatened and killed our people for centuries in this nation. I don't play with it in any shape, form, or fashion. Remember, the Ku Klux Klan started out as a so-called joke. Look what that organization became. It's one of the greatest domestic terrorist organizations over here in the United States of America. Okay? So that's the point I wanted to make. No, the Black Manosphere is not a pro-black space, and if they're going to have any type of integrity, most of their content creators will tell you that. I'll tell you what they will say. A lot of them will say, I'm pro-black man. Let me tell you what the problem is with that, right? And salute Christopher L. Ellis for the cash out. Thank you very much, brother. Let me tell you what the problem is with that. I'm pro-black man. See, I get it. We got some off-code women out here, man, that will make you pull your hair out your head if you're not trained how to deal with that. First of all, you don't deal with women that's not on your program and that are not on the same page as far as fighting this racism and white supremacy, because that's the most important thing. They think that because you are a type of person that understands that black women do have an important role in the society and that not all black women are just to be written off. They think that, you a simp, you this, that. No, I work with the sisters that have sense enough to be on the same page and work towards the same goals, because you cannot have a whole society with only half the damn society. So that I'm just pro-black man shit, we don't play that over here in New Black Media Spaces. We call it down the middle with the problems with black men and black women. See what they do over there in that space, they think that everybody talks like Brother Polite or a lot of these guys in the conscious sector where every time you turn around, they kissing women's asses, the Derek Jackson types. We don't do that over here. You know I don't play that on my platform. Jason Black doesn't play it. Professor Black Truth doesn't play it. Philip Scott don't play it. Torian Rain don't play it. Tariq Nasheed don't play it. None of us. I'm leaving people out. So if I left you out, my brother Sincere Love the Guy, Raheem Shabazz, okay? None of us play that. We believe in reporting the news as it is, and we believe in addressing problems as is. But see, this woman is not of our tribe. She does not belong in our house. See, that's where I'm at with it. Not just her, but all the other tether class over here, especially the ones that are allowed to identify as white, even though they're not. We've allowed unruly guests in our house where they do not belong, and it's time to kick their asses out. Ain't no more invites to the barbecue because they all start getting disrespectful. So see, she jumped out her mouth and made that statement because her dumb ass doesn't even understand that the Black Manosphere is in a pro-black space. Any of us that's familiar with the start of that space understand that no, that they've never been on that. And I'm going to prove that here tonight. So if anybody says, no, I disagree. Just wait. You better learn one thing about me if you're new to this channel. When I claim something, I can back it up and I'm going to show you. And it ain't going to be no way you can argue with it. Because I already showed you one piece of evidence. And that's just one major content creator over there who's considered the founding father of the space. The three of them are with Manosphere version 2.0. You would have Angry Man who actually named the space. Obsidian was the one that cultivated a lot of the talking points. And then you have O'Shea Duke Jackson, which would be considered basically the guy that was able to get the best talent over there with different platforms, okay? Those are your three founding fathers, and what they'll all do from time to time, with the exception of Obsidian. I've never heard him do it. The other two, I'm in the Black Manosphere. I'm not in the Black Manosphere. All you motherfuckers in the Black Manosphere. See, a lot of them are distant themselves away from that space when shit started getting hot on them and certain things happen that affect the real world and something negative. Oh, I ain't in the Black Manosphere. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you still pals with everybody. You still hold the same talking points. Okay? So let's just clear that foolishness up. Now, we're going to get back to the Putrid Pearl running her mouth because, see, a lot of people don't understand. When people start misrepresenting things about your group, somebody's supposed to step up and check that. And it's supposed to start with the men. So I'm going to do my part over here tonight and shut that shit down. No, Pearly, the Black Manosphere is not a pro-black space. They will tell you as much. They say they're pro-black man. Okay? The greater majority do. The greater majority. You might have a handful here or there. And I know a couple of brothers over there that talk like they got some sense. You know what I'm saying? But the greater majority tell you that's not what they're on. Okay? I've heard the brother Dennis Sperling say that. Okay. Several of them. I'll be here naming all night if I start naming the names of people that will tell you they are not pro-black over there. So just wanted to fervently get that cleared up right now. Let's let this heifer continue because I'm not done with her yet.
What happened this week was they pulled a clips from an interview I had with Nick Fuentes. Now, a lot of these men have been making hit pieces on me for months. For months, they have been saying, oh, you shouldn't listen to this girl. This is your new leader. She's this. Yeah, they would just make up all this stuff. So they have just been waiting for me to slip up and say something that they can construe as, because I'm a woman, you can't pull me as sexist. So, you know, personally.
Salute to Andre Jones for the cash up. And see, I want you to notice something because that's not an audio issue on my end. During the course of this diatribe that she goes on here, this mayonnaise diatribe, she's blurring out the word racist as if that's something she doesn't want to say in the beginning, but I guess her editor screwed up because later she's not going to be blurring it out, okay? See, white supremacists are masters of smoke and mirrors, all right? See, when I look at her, I'm not enamored by any damn thing. You talking to a brother that growing up, I didn't idolize none of them. Now, do I respect certain things that they're able to do? Or if you can get some game from how they do business, sure, I'll use that. But I don't idolize them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. The people and the tellers that work for Pearl and the rest of them that's over here of our lineage caping for her ass, that's their one common denominator. They worship these people like they're guys. I see what's right here in front of me before this screen. I wouldn't trust this piece of shit as far as I could throw this planet. But like I said, we're going to further let her prove why I said that. And we're going to continue to break this down. Let's let her continue.
I follow things that interest me. I always just do what I'm interested in. And I heard about this guy named Nick Fuentes, who is a far-right extremist. He has been banned on everything, even his bank account. I invited him on. He offered to fly himself here. Now, during this interview, we touched on the topic of slavery. And what these reactors did is they were trying to make me look racist by pulling clips I said out of context. Now, I mentioned in this interview that all of these thoughts were from Thomas Sowell.
Family, before I let this piece of shit speak and sit there and tell this lie, you know what? First of all, let me go back because I want you to really look at her when she says this. Hold on. Let me see if I can get that right where she's looking. Hold up. Let me put that. There it is, right there. Because I'm using this to teach you a very important lesson. I want you to look at her face, okay? Now, most black people in here have probably had the misfortune. Salute to Brother Sidonia Snow for the cash out. Most people have probably had the distasteful misfortune of actually having to experience somebody in the dominant society look you right in your face, just like this. Okay, this is why I slid it back to this screen right here. They'll look you in your face right like this and tell you a bold-faced lie. Do you understand that these people lie just like we breathe? That's just how natural it comes to them. This piece of shit is going to say we took her out of context when she was the one that brought up slavery, embellished just like slavery. Nick Fuentes, hardcore white supremacist, didn't even do it. Okay? But we took you out of context, you thin-lipped maggot, you. See, you better take a good look at this because, see, I'm going to make a controversial statement, but there's some truth in it. I don't trust any of the white supremacists, but you will be able to get a better deal dealing with the white supremacist male as far as them just saying what they believe up front. For example, like the right-wing conservative party, they'll let you know what they think about black folks up front. But see, their women are the devils incarnate themselves. They will look at you with a straight face and tell you the biggest lies ever told. Because you know why? See, let me tell you what's dangerous about these types of liars. It's one thing if you're a liar to the point where you know you bullshitting. Okay, that's one thing because you know you're full of shit. The most dangerous type of liar is the one that believes their own lies. Say it one more time. The most dangerous type of liar is the one that believes their own lies. You understand me? This is why they're able to do a lot of the things they have done globally. These people will justify their barbarism and their cruelty and their white supremacist ways, and they'll actually believe that manifest destiny, for example. Those of you not familiar with that doctrine, they believe that shit. You understand me? They believe it. So now, as a black person, if you choose to be in denial about any of that, you're playing with your life. We're going to let this play because we've all seen it by now, but she's telling us we took her out of context. You can't make this up. reaction channel my ass.
I read Sowell, so he talks about, oh God, this is going to get me in trouble, how slavery was a global institution, and the word slave actually came from Slavic, which is white.
Wherever a separate people were enslaved, they were disdained or despised, whether they were different by country, religion, caste, race, or tribe. The Europeans who were enslaved in North Africa were despised and abused because they were Christians in a Muslim region of the world, where they were called Christian dogs. Race became the most visible difference between slaves and slave owners in the Western Hemisphere. As distinguished historian Daniel J. Boorstin put it, now for the first time in Western history, the status of slave coincided with a difference of race. To make racism the driving force behind slavery is to make a historically recent factor the cause of an institution which originated thousands of years earlier. This enshrinement of racism as an overarching causal factor accords far more with current instrumental agendas than with history.
A guy that's written like 80 books on this topic. And now you can agree with Thomas Sowell, you can disagree with Thomas Sowell, and you can even say maybe I didn't use the correct words, but that doesn't make me a person. But the problem is all of these reactors.
Now, I'm going to point out another way where you can tell if one of these pieces of shit are lying like most of them are. I told you, if the thin pale lips are moving, they're lying. Pay attention to body language. And I know those of us who are older already understand this, but I want young black people to pick these things up. When a person is lying, they start looking down, looking off to the side. Notice how she kept doing that when she made the statement. And you see right here, I caught her with her eyes damn closed, okay? If you believe what you're saying, you can look somebody or the camera straight into the camera or their face and say what you're saying. She couldn't do that. See, I catch everything. I've been trained to study these people from the time I was a small child by grandparents, parents alike, okay? Cousins, many other elders in my family, all right? So now the other problem that I have with her, she claims that because she quoted Thomas Sowell, that doesn't make her an anti-black racist. I'm going to show you why it does, because see, let's get straight to brass tacks. If you claim to be a professional and you're going to engage or speak on a specific topic, especially one that's outside of your race, why is it that most of them, like her, the alabasters class, the anti-black racist white supremacists, why is it they only reference people that have negative things to say about black people? You never hear them mention the likes of Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. John Henry Clark. Can you imagine if Dr. Clark ever debated Thomas Sowell when he was alive? Man, he would have shredded his ass from one end down to the other intellectually, okay? You never hear her bring up Yosef Ben Yaakov. See, they only know the coon class of so-called scholars. Because see, let me go ahead and bust your bubble on something. I'm finna make all the coons mad tonight. Y'all gonna probably want to share this everywhere. Thomas Sowell is not an intellectual. You heard me right. I said it. Thomas Sowell is not an intellectual. Now, GBS, how could you say that? He's written 80 books. Oh, he's this, he's that. I'm going to tell you why Thomas Sowell is not an intellectual. An intellectual, by definition, is someone that changes the thought process and the landscape and the ideology of a society. They do that with original thought from observance, research, and experimentation. Thomas Sowell is not an intellectual because all he does is parrot right-wing talking points that he got from other people. See, let me tell you something. I don't want to talk to a do-boy. If that's what I wanted to do, man, there's plenty of them out there. You can't throw a rock in either direction without hitting one of them. I'd rather go straight to the source. Move out the way, little old pet Sam Bozo. Go get your master where you got talking points from. That's who I deal with. See, if you're going to go after the snake, you aim for the head. That's why he's not an intellectual. I can show you chapter and verse. You know, see, one day I'm going to have to do a breakdown on his ass because, see, most of his books that he's written, I can show you where he borrowed shit from the Bell Curve and a whole bunch of other white supremacist works. Hell, he's even bitten shit from Jared Taylor. There's nothing original about Thomas Sowell. Now, to his credit, as an economist, that's what his earlier work was based on. But see, what ended up happening was he realized there wasn't too much money in that. He couldn't get in over there with the liberals. So Thomas found out that, hey, if I become the black guy that talk down against my own people, they'll throw me a couple of peanuts. It's as simple as that. Intellectual my ass. Show me an original thought in his head. See, I'm going to show you something else too. And when you think about Candace Owens, you've seen that with her. Think back to when Candace Owens had Donald Trump up there and they started talking about the medical procedure. Remember when Trump had a different point of view on that, and then she started looking crazy because she didn't expect him to say that? She was just saying what she thought he agreed with. See, they don't have an original thought in their heads. If the Conservative Party switched their views tomorrow without notifying the Coon class, they would come out doing the same talking points, and then they would be shocked that now, oh my God, white daddy and white mommy to change the memo and they let me know. You see what I'm saying? An intellectual doesn't need to parrot other people. Now, you can cite sources and quote other people. Nothing wrong with that. But your entire life's work is based off of regurgitating things that you got from other right wing and white supremacists and other people like that. No, you're not no intellectual. No, I refuse to disgrace the likes of Dr. John Henry Clark and our other grandmaster teachers, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, by putting that maggot in the same category. No, sir. No. But see, this goofball right here and many others, that's what they always do. And see, he's their number one go-to when it comes to an issue on reparations or whatever. They always quoting Thomas Sowell. See, a smart white supremacist, and this is one of the reasons why they didn't accept her over there in the white manosphere space. A smart white supremacist would say, hey, I've looked at the work of Dr. John Henry Clark and the work of Thomas Sowell, but Thomas Sowell seems to present XYZ ideas. See, if you made a contrast even, that would give you a little bit more credibility. You would appear to almost be making a valid argument, but it's clear where you got that from because, see, I'm going to tell you something. There's a reason why this woman is like that. She got that from her father and her family. I know how they are. Look, she didn't just get this from anywhere. This is a little old. She claims she's 26 years old. I don't believe that bullshit. Y'all believe that if you want to. But she claims that she's 26. So now let's just go with that as if it was the truth. You really think a 26-year-old airhead is going to be reading these types of books? I guarantee if you were to put on the spot and say, which Thomas Sowell book you read? Which one? Which one stood out to you the most? She couldn't do it off the top of her head, put on the spot. But see, when you in front of a bunch of idiots that'll let you get away with that, oh yeah, shit. Well, you heard her. She said she read Thomas Sowell. Okay, which book did you read? Which one? What stood out the most? Have you ever talked to anybody else with an opposing view to see where Thomas Sowell might have been wrong? Oh, but just because Thomas Sowell said it, he's the representative for all niggers, huh? See, she got the right one over here tonight. Let's let this putrid maggot lip continue over here.
Are just sitting there waiting for you to slip up and to paint a narrative about you. And that's what I've seen people do to Fresh and Fit for the past 3 years. My whole point is that these reaction channels are just sitting there looking for you to say the wrong thing. They're looking for you to slip up, and they're not going to things in good faith. And the other issue you get with content creators, especially reaction channels, is they turn on you at a dime. And that's what Abba and Preach did to Fresh and Fit. They're hanging out in the studio, and the next week they're saying, oh, you're capping. And, you know, Abba and Preach proceed to make like 20 videos on them, and Fresh and Fit didn't say anything. Now, guys, you know, I don't even think I've worked with Fresh and Fit in like 2 years. I'm not even saying this to defend them, but I just see what the reaction channels are doing. It's like a system. And they want to paint content creators a certain way. They want to make Sneeko look stupid. They want Fresh and Fit to look sexist and racist. And now they've come for me. They want me to look. And there was a guy named Rollo Tomasi, and Rollo Tomasi was a guy in the red pill space. And at one point, I really wanted him to mentor me. But he said, it's not personal, but I can't associate with your brand. And I didn't really understand what he meant at the time. But with these reaction channels...
Oh, I understood what he meant at the time. Because, see, here's another misnomer we're going to clear up. See, Pearly, you can fool them idiots over there that worship you just because you have alabaster skin, but you can't fool me. I know why Rollo didn't want nothing to do with you, and it didn't have a damn thing to do with your brand. You are a white woman. The white manosphere, one thing I will give them credit for, they operate off making sure their women know their place. They're not stupid enough to allow a woman in that just parroting things that she does not believe. You went and stole everything that Kevin Samuels stole from other people. Then you hopped in over there in the Black Manosphere because their goofy asses let you come in so that you could get comfortable, not paying attention to history, knowing when you let these people in where they don't belong, they immediately start taking inventory, quietly, observing how you run things, and then they take over and kick you out. See, those of us over here in New Black Media Space, we're smart enough to understand that, one, we don't need her people speaking for us. That's the first thing. So now when you keep it in the context of dealing with Rollo Tomassi, he told you to get your ass on because they don't have any white women over there towing the line for them like that because they know that y'all are part of the problem over here in America today with the family court system. See, the only way I could see the likes of a Rollo Tomassi, Tom Likas, whoever you want to name over there in the white manosphere space, Anthony Dream Johnson, take a white woman serious, you would have to be the type of white woman that's saying, okay, you know what? I want to help you guys. I'm going to toe the line. Yeah, let's go ahead and get some things straightened out and make things fair for men, men's rights. They would only take you serious if you were on the level of an attorney and you were actually going in these courts and going and represent them up in Congress, you know, and city council meetings, getting them to change the laws in the family court and child support system. That is the only way I can see them taking you serious. You are not qualified to do any of that. And they see you for what you are. Most of these women, and I got to tell it like it is, most of them only hopped into these spaces, with the exception of a very small few that you can count on one hand. Most of them only hopped into these spaces talking about men's issues because when the pandemic started, they panicked. They didn't have no other way to get money. And then they just hopped their ass over there. If I say what the men say, you see what I'm saying? See, a lot of us saw that play from the beginning. It was just, you know what? It's the alternate version of that soft girl con game that they was all running, okay? See, you can't fool those of us who are experiencing that been around to see these things start from the beginning. That's why Rollo didn't want nothing to do with you. So instead of black people having common sense enough not to pick up the white man's trash, she brought her little funky ass over here. You paid Kevin Samuels, the departed brother, may he rest in peace. You paid him $1,000 as the story goes. You stole as much as you could steal from him. And then as soon as that man died, you didn't even wait for him to be cold in the ground. You started doing your thing over there, stealing everything that man was reciting over there. And to the dishonorable credit, you know, this dishonor for most of them, they didn't really call her out for that. You notice that, family? I only can think of maybe 3 people over there that said, hey, look at what you're doing. You running with everything that you got from Kevin Samuels. You see what I'm saying? I didn't really hear you. Had some people that claim they love Kevin so much and talk to him on the phone every day. They didn't even take her to task for that. I'm gonna tell you something, man. If Kevin was my guy, that was my dog, man, I would have came out and meet like, bitch, hey, who give you the right to do this? No, you learn from him, but you're not gonna step in here and then bite off this man's legacy like that. That's just me. I'm a bit more loyal to my people than that, but I digress. It's a bunch of coons over there, so there's no loyalty amongst coons. So I just gotta call it like it is, all right? But see, the problem started when they let her in the door. And then when you do that with them people, they get comfortable, they immediately start disrespecting you. This is how she got where she was now. And a lot of us over here in New Black Media Spaces, and I'll give them credit. Dennis Sperling, as you saw on this channel, regardless whether you agree or disagree with him, he tried to warn them about that, and they got mad at him. I got to tell the truth. See, one thing about me, whether I agree with somebody's ideology or not, I'll give you credit when I see you telling the truth. Doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything, but I will speak the truth and say, hey, you know what? I saw that with my own eyes. I got that on this channel. What Dennis Sperling actually tried to tell them with the date and times on it. He was like, hey, listen, it's a bad idea. She don't need to be over here speaking for men. Did they listen to him? Nah, they turned on him. Anyway, we're going to further get back to analyzing this because, see, we got a lot more to break down dealing with Burley Pearly over here. I ain't gonna let none of this slide. I'm gonna check all of it across the board.
Channels will do is if you have a controversial person on your platform, they will start to insinuate that you believe what they believe. And they'll look for a video of you saying, yes, you joking with that person, you just being polite to that person, and paint a narrative about you being racist, about you being sexist, about you being homophobic, whatever narrative they want to push. With Rollo, I didn't understand what he meant at the time, but now I do. The issue is if you associate with certain people, and me coming into the space, I'm like, I'll talk to anyone. What's the big deal? I mean, I bring in randoms to my studio every night. Like, who cares? But the issue you get into is the reaction channels, they're like vultures. Well, they'll come in and try to make you look a certain way and try to make you paint a certain way, be painted a certain way for clicks and views, even if they know damn well you're not that way. Back to Nick Fuentes. I did a podcast with this man named Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, again, far extremist. He doesn't believe in race mixing, doesn't believe in that, like, thinks the was over exaggerated. And we're talking about the idea of people using an atrocity to control you. And if you listen to it, like 20 minutes around where we started talking about slavery, you will see the context. But the reaction channels either don't want to see the context or they're too lazy because they're afraid of their audience. Because if they watch the full video, but most of their audience has seen the 1-minute clip, they can't go against their audience. That's the problem. Now we get to a point where it doesn't even matter what's true or what's false. It literally doesn't matter because, you know, the reaction channels can make a 1 million view video about me or make a, 10 million view TikTok about me, even if they know that that's not true. And how often do the reaction channels come back and say, you know what, we effed up. You know what, we painted a false narrative. You know what? And they never do, because what incentive did they have to do that? Because then their audience wouldn't trust them. One thing they said that I said was that I was comparing Black Americans to African Americans. Now, one, I didn't even know about this animosity towards the two, but I was simply just commenting how much I love my employees. How
Let me stop this thin little piece of shit yet again. Okay, let's go ahead and deal with a couple of things that she let spew out them little pale pasty lips of hers. See, let's make this very simple. And I'm going to put this in the context where I know all the women in this chat room will understand this, because I know most of you do. I have a very intelligent audience over here, men and women. But ladies, let me ask this question to you, all right? The sisters in the audience here tonight. If I fired up my platform over here, okay? Let's just say by some way, shape, or form, I was able to get an interview with Daniel Holtzclaw, okay? Remember who he is, Daniel Holtzclaw, the rapist cop, white supremacist. I get the interview with him. I start interviewing this man. I'm on camera. You can see me. You can see him. Start asking him questions about what he did. Let's just say he get bold and just admit what he did. He'd do it again if he had the chance. Start laughing about it. Now, if you see me sitting across from this man, laughing and kikiing with him about raping women, and then I was to turn around and tell you that you took me out of context, I don't agree with him, would you believe me? Would you believe me? Let me know in the chat room. If I interviewed at Daniel Holtzclaw, the rapist, white supremacist cop, and he started laughing and joking and admitted that he raped all them sisters, and I sit up there laughing with him where you can see me on camera, and then you take me to task about it, and then I turn around and tell you, well, you're taking me out of context just because I was laughing about it doesn't mean I agree with him. Would any of y'all believe me? I'm asking, sisters, would you believe me? Let me know. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm making a point. See, family, this is what she's basically trying to do. You said that slavery was embellished. You brought it up before Nick Fuentes, Pearl. Then you both sit up there laughing about all types of racial jokes, laughing about African time and all of this. And then as far as the lie about her trying to say she didn't understand about the differences between African Americans and, the African immigrants or what have you, or Jamaican immigrants or Caribbean people. That's a bold-faced lie. And I'm going to tell you why I know that, family. Now, you're probably saying, GBS, how could you know? You've never been over there. You don't know any of them. I don't have to be over there and know them to understand culture. Now, what do I mean by that? Family, watch this. Do you really think that for a minute, most of her employees over there have never, around that white woman, brought up commentary in a negative light, okay, in a pejorative sense about Black Americans. You really think they've never said nothing like that in private? Because see, I'm gonna tell you how I know that she full of shit on that. The tether class and these white supremacists, they do that often. See, where do you think the running joke comes from when they say, you not like them Black Americans? You really think they never had no conversations in private like that? Because if you do, let me tell you what I got for you. I got some merchandise for you. I got a big old bridge in Brooklyn, and I got one in San Francisco. I'll give you a good discount rate on it if you actually fool enough to believe that. See, let me tell you something. Common sense is a protection against many things, family. This woman sitting up here saying that with a straight face, no, she knew better than that. She knew what she was doing. I tell you, see, what I like about the white supremacist female, and I'm going to boldly say this because it's not something that the white supremacist male can control. To be honest with you, that's really the Achilles heel of white supremacy. You know why? Because when they get emotional, like she is here, and make no mistake, she is emotional. She is pissed off. They don't think. They're not strategic. I'm telling you, they're the Achilles heel of white supremacy. Because when they get to running off at the mouth, they end up saying too damn much. And the white man knows that. See, why do you think Zaddy treat his women the way he does? He knows. He knows. Just listen to how they talk. If you don't even have to listen to them, just study them. Just study how they interact with each other. The arguments that they get into. Don't get in between it. Mind your black business. Just observe. See, when you study these people over a number of course of years, you understand their psychology. One of the worst things that you can do as a woman in your group is not know when to shut your damn mouth. She should have never made this video, but I'm glad you did, Pearl. Because see, then people like me get a chance to dissect it and teach my people what to look out for. Oh, yes. Oh, she's the gift that keeps on giving. I love it. Because, see, I'm going to make sure my people understand exactly how these alabasters think, because it could be a life or death matter one day. I'm going to let this thin little maggot continue to talk, because there's a lot more we got to get to.
How hard they work, how great they are. And these reaction channels were trying to say that I was trying to put down someone else. You know, non-Western people come in with a hunger that a lot of times, you know, Westerners were spoiled. And I never mentioned race, but these people are trying to make it about race and saying, oh, that's what she really meant. That's what she really said. But it wasn't what I said. And they're putting words into my mouth. And these people, they're bullies. I was joking around with Nick Fuentes, and they said, oh, you can't joke around with him. Sorry, that's my personality. I joke around with anyone. You didn't offer him enough pushback. Well, sorry, I listen to understand what they're saying. It doesn't mean I agree. And that's the thing what these reaction channels will do. They'll look for a clip of you, or one clip will go viral of you, and they're so scared of their audience that they won't tell you the truth. They won't tell you the context. They don't want to even know the context because they're going to go against their audience. But
see, this is where we must draw a firm line of demarcation. Pearl, you can say that about the Black Manosphere. I don't mind you sitting there misrepresenting them, other than the fact that they're not a pro-Black space, and they will tell you as much. I'm not lying about that. They'll tell you that. Don't take it from me, okay? The issue that I have with what she just said, again, don't you put new Black media spaces into we're scared of our audience. See, let me tell you something about the audiences of those of us over here in new Black media. Our audience is family. Our audience is family. Family isn't afraid of each other. So you misspoke when you said that, trying to throw us in there? No, ma'am. We tell our audience the truth, whether they like it or not. Because see, let me explain something to you about those of us who are voices of new Black media over here. I don't care what it is, even with all the subscribers I have over here on this platform and any other. If I have something that I need to tell you that I know is a danger to you and it's something I need you to protect yourself from, or at least make sure you have access to the information where you can make your own decision, I will come on here with everybody in my chat room calling me everything but a child of God. But one damn thing I'm going to do is make sure you got the information. I don't care about who doesn't like something, who get mad. That is not my job. My job is to protect my people from pieces of shit like you. Because see, sadly, a lot of our people out here can't tell what she really is. I know what this is. The only thing missing from this bag of dog shit is a damn Klan hood. You think I'm lying about that? Go catch my previous broadcast on this channel and then review the portions where she was talking about reparations. I broke that down, how she got them talking points from people in her family and her social circle around her. They all think like that. So no, our audience isn't afraid of us. They know they're going to get relevant information over here. You say that for the other platforms. I ain't gonna let you say that about ours, though. Let's let her continue.
Here, I'm going to tell you guys the truth no matter what. Do you think this is going to help me, this video? Telling you guys the behind the scenes of this? Hell no. But to me, if these people are lying on me, I'm sorry, I got to tell the truth. So Blessing, my producer, who I speak so highly of, I speak so highly of, he was late. And, you know, I said African time. And you know what? They're going to clip this. They're going to say I did this, did that, and I'm a white apologist, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? What they don't know is I was referring to something Blessing said earlier. That's something he says when he walks in the door.
Let me go ahead and deal with that because, see, I'm going to thread a couple more needles here. See, this is the difference between most foundational Black Americans and a lot of African and Caribbean immigrants. Just because Blessing, your producer, was talking about African time, that doesn't give you the right to do it because that's something that he and his people can joke about. But see, unfortunately, here's the problem. This is the difference between foundational Black Americans and, in this case, continental Africans. We don't let white people play with us about things that we say to each other. And I don't care how you feel about the N-word. I get the reasons why a lot of people don't like using that word, but I'm standing firm on this. I don't care if all of our people use it. That doesn't give them the right to use it. And that's where I'm going to stand with that. Because, see, at the end of the day, whether you agree or disagree with using that word, the N-word, or not, that's still not something that we allow them to do to us. And we're not going to go by the excuse, well, if we said, why they can't say it? Because they're not Black. Simple as that. Now, as far as us not using it amongst each other, that's a conversation we can have in-house. But I will never let nobody gaslight me and say, well, because you guys said, then why I can't say it? Simple. Look at your skin and look at mine. Your ancestors were responsible for the murder of my ancestors. And the argument can definitely be made that no Black person should use it amongst one another because it was the last thing that some Black people heard. I can understand that. I respect that. Either way, that's an in-house conversation. Now, compare that to the African time thing. See, unfortunately, and I feel bad for them brothers and sisters over there, man, because see, a lot of times, a lot of Black immigrants, when they immigrate to places like the UK, America, whatever, a lot of times they have these biases against foundational Black Americans. Instead of getting with us, we can understand you new here, you trying to get your paper up and everything, because you already have advantages we don't have off of the rights that our ancestors fought for. But if you really trying to get your paper straight, you ain't got to kiss no white ass to do that. We've been making $1 out of 15 cents as long as we've been over here. If you actually had some sense you got with the people over here that are natives to the land, us, we could show you how to get your weight up without sacrificing your integrity. But see what they do? They go and get with these white people that throw them a little piece of dry bread and a cup of water, and they forever grateful. So that means that whatever this white person do or say that's disrespectful to you, you got to act like you don't hear it or you act like you don't understand it was disrespectful. That's sad, man. That's sad. We don't play them kinds of games over here. Not those of us that with any sense. Not a coon class. Hey, they're going to do what they do. It's not accepted amongst us. And see, I'm going to tell you one thing that's other thing that's different from us. The coon class over here that are violated, the Jesse Lee Petersons, the David Claus, and et cetera, they're not accepted amongst us like that because we know we can't trust them. If you're going to sit around these people and allow them to disrespect you that way, no, you can't come over here. Oftentimes, they don't make that line of demarcation amongst their people, and that's why they have a lot of problems that they have in their homelands. You cannot keep cancer amongst a healthy body. You get rid of the damn cancer. You understand? And cooning is a damn cancer to his people, okay? Just wanted to make that part clear. Because all this gaslighting she doing, it don't fool me at all. I'm going to finish breaking her down. Let's let her continue.
And all of these reaction channels are going to come in and say, oh, Pearl shouldn't do that in front of a white supremacist. That's so disrespectful. Well, if my employees were disrespected, that's their job to talk to me.
To be honest, I can go on to even say that Nick was in terms of the guests that we've had so far, quite a nice guy. He didn't carry any ego.
Did you hear that? This is the blessing guy. He's quite a nice guy. Family, that type of naivete is fatal. This man was a part of the Charlottesville riots where people lost their lives. This fool is sitting up here talking about he seemed like he was quite a nice guest. This man would slaughter you and your people if he thought he could get away with it. I don't understand why they think just because a white person is smiling in your face that means that that's somebody who's trustworthy or worthy of your respect. And then this lady sitting over here, the Aunt Jenny or whatever the hell her name is, all you got to do is just look in her eyes. You can tell it's like them people, man, the tether class. Not all of our black immigrant brothers and sisters. We are talking about that mentally damaged, broken spirit tether class. You can just look in her eyes and tell that they don't even know what's going on. I know y'all understand what I'm saying. It's a look in their eyes like they don't even have a clue about the danger that's right in front of them. And then when you go over there to their homelands today, they see people that look like them practicing all the corruption, but they fail to ask the question, who is this buck dancing flunky working for? I've showed you many times. All you got to do is go on foreignassistance.gov and look at that financial aid that they shelling out everywhere. That's them buying off their puppet leaders. But see, that's just too much like right there. Any white person that you see, you're supposed to be able to trust them as long as they smiling and grinning in your face. See, if this producer Blessing, who they just give such high praise for being such a good producer, one of the jobs of a producer before you bring anything on the show is supposed to be well researched. So now if you know anything about his history in just Charlottesville alone, never mind his other rhetoric, not to mention what he said on the damn show when he was talking to that the King Richard's girlfriend, Blessing was in there when that happened. How in the hell are you talking about, he was a polite guest? How the fuck is that? When he talking about other black people, see, I'm going to tell you what it is. They don't understand, or they don't want to understand. Let me be clear. Don't want to, because they get it. They don't want to understand that when you see these types of things happening, where you can see the history of white supremacy that Nick Fuentes engaged in, you tend to think because, okay, I'm accepted by Pearl, so he's in here with her and they all laughing and grinning. I'm just like one of them, so that don't apply to me. They really do think they're different like that. See, if any of them black people over there had any respect when Nick made his comments towards not only Blessing, but when he was talking about King Richard's girlfriend and his ass was in the studio at the time, don't y'all let nobody fool you with that. All of them would have said, hey, listen, that's what it is. We walking out. No, you're not going to have no white supremacists in her disrespecting us like that. Because see, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it again. King Richard, let me tell you something, dude. You got to be the biggest punk it is. I don't date white women, but I'll tell you one thing that I would demand. Whatever woman I'm dealing with, you're not going to disrespect my woman to my face like that. And then it was beyond insulting his woman. He was talking about him. You remember the comments that he made? It couldn't have been me or most foundational black Americans. Nah, see, respect is something that we do not compromise on. This is why we have been able to accomplish the things that we've accomplished over a number of years. But I'm going to let this Sambo over here get back to talking because, see, this is pathetic, man. You can't have no unity with people like this. If you look like me and you're not on code against white supremacy with me, the greatest threat to black people globally, I don't need you near me. You're cannon fodder. You need to go over there to the other side and wherever the chips fall with you, it is what it is. Don't call me for help because, see, this is blatant stupidity. There's no way he doesn't know about Nick Fuentes' background. But, hey, I want y'all to hear him go on and on about how polite against Nick Fuentes was.
Just his, views that
he wasn't threatening.
We might not agree.
I think we put him on the spot.
None of them had a problem. I even had one of my producers take a picture with him, you know, and this is the problem is the reaction channels, none of them actually reached out to my employees to see how they're doing, to see if they're okay. Where if they were really outraged about, if they really cared, they would do that. They also cut out a part where Nick made a joke and said he was kidding.
I texted you, I'm on my way because I thought I was already 10 minutes late when I was leaving.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Blessing was more late African.
Well, he's black.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a hard time. I don't mean
And they didn't put.
Now, let me show you what she tried to pull right there, right? When she said they cut out a part, it said that Nick Fuentes was just joking and kidding. They trying to claim that Jason Black, when he first reviewed this, cut that part out. No, he didn't. Go over there and look at it. It's still up on his channel. He didn't cut that out. What we didn't do, though, we didn't give a pass for that bullshit because you don't sit up there and let white supremacists make them kinds of joke about your people. That's what we didn't do. And most other people that saw that after Brother Jason Black exposed that shit. That's what we didn't do. You don't let these people play with you like that and disrespect you because it always starts out as jokes. Our history has taught us that. They hide their anti-black racism, which leads to anti-black terrorism, behind jokes. And if you got good sense, you don't let them get started with that. We took that out of context, though. Oh, they didn't show that part. I don't know how she thought she was going to get away with that because it's up on the brother's channel. He did not skip that. But see, when you're dealing with a thin-lipped liar, and then remember she said just a few minutes ago here, she said that I even had one of my producers take a picture with him. Now just analyze how she sounded when she said that. You had one of your producers take a picture with it, so you were telling him to do it? See, the thing about these pathological, lying, anti-black racist pieces of shit, like I told you earlier, they believe their own lies. This is the other thing that's so sick and demonic about white supremacy. Outside of the treatment of our people, they lied to the point where they don't even understand that they lying. That to her, she really does believe that there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, see? Family, like I told you, I ain't done with it. I'm going to break it all down here tonight. I'm going to cover everything that I feel like people missed when they were reviewing this. Let it continue.
The full clip. He said, oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm kidding. Why would they cut that out? Why would they do that? The other thing they put in was that my friend and Nick Fuentes were going back and forth about interracial dating and that I should have spoken more. I should have spoken up. If Gabby needed help, if Gabby was holding her own, she was holding her own. If she needed help, then I certainly would have helped. But I know the girl and she was holding her own just fine. So now let's get into MTR's reaction. So MTR, I want to give you guys a little background into my relationship with MTR. If you don't know, 500,000 subscribers, mediocre tutorials and reviews. And I met him when I was in Miami, and I actually spent a good amount of time with him. He flew in for a one-on-one interview, and he actually spent a day with me and my sister. Like, honestly, I felt like I actually opened up to him in a way because I let him meet my family. You know, I mean, that any YouTuber knows we always want to protect our family from the public. And, you know, I introduced him to my sister.
You knowingly invited a white supremacist and a self-proclaimed racist.
I have no problem inviting people that disagree. I have no problem having crazy conversations. I will not apologize for having a controversial guest because I will keep having controversial guests. My staff is very aware of this. They know this. And if they have an issue with this, they should talk to me, not the internet. And that's the other thing about YouTubers is why the hell are YouTubers that have my number going to the internet before they talk to me? A lot of these YouTubers are so scared.
Now, I want you to catch the statement that she just made.
Why are these YouTubers that have my number going to the internet before you talk to me?
Let me tell you something, Pearl. Now, I don't have your number, and I don't want the motherfucker. But if somebody was associating with you that was black, and then we recognize that you're an anti-black racist or white supremacist, there ain't a damn thing left to talk about. And see, I'm going to keep it 100. MTR didn't really go against her because she had Nick Fuentes on there. Because if Jason Black wouldn't have said nothing, he would still be dealing with her to this day. I want you to understand that. Now, I don't condone none of the comments that she said mocking that brother's cancer. I would never do that. And I don't play that over here on my channel. But as far as telling the truth about why he stopped dealing with her, no, people stopped dealing with her because Jason put it out there like, oh, y'all gonna keep dealing with this? That's the reason why he did that. See, you better watch these people that's always talking about YouTube as a business and only everything talking about the views something get, because these are snakes. They'll sell their soul in a heartbeat. Just imagine if Jason wouldn't have put that on Front Street. I guarantee you he wouldn't have. See, let me go here with it, because some people are like, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? Okay, watch this. This is going to further prove the point that Black Manosphere space is not pro-black. Can you imagine any one of them, after seeing that Nick Fuentes interview that she did, coming out and making the statements that brother Jason Black did? Can you see any of them going that deep into detail and actually saying anything? You see where I'm going with this? So for anybody like, well, you don't know that. Oh yeah, I tell you what, name one person over there in that space, especially a male content creator, that would have called her out the way he did. Name one. Yeah, that's what I thought. He would have still been working with her. See, they let her in there. Then they want to act surprised and shocked when she turned on them. We keep telling y'all, man, how many times these people gonna have to show us when you give them an inch, they gonna take a mile. We should be moving towards being exclusive as a people now. And unfortunately, that applies to a lot of these off-code Sambos that's willing to sit up there and work for somebody like that and then go and cape for her as if she's not the white supremacist and anti-black racist that she is. Yeah. Let's get back to work, though, because we ain't done yet. Fair use, fair use.
To protect their brand, that they will throw anyone and everyone under the bus. And it's honestly blood sport, and it's honestly disgusting.
Pearl, you know that your staff is mostly black people. And I'm talking about from a production perspective as well as a talent perspective.
MTR, if you were worried about my employees, why didn't you message Blessing? Why didn't you message King? Why didn't you message Helen? You certainly could have reached out to them. You certainly could have asked me for their numbers, but you chose to go to the internet because you were offended for my employees.
I don't think that your platform would be as big as what it is today if it wasn't for the essential utilization of black people, black relationship topics, and black talent.
I don't know how many times I have said this, and I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this. My platform is not a black platform. How could I have a platform about black issues if I talk about relationships? My last shows, the two that come to my head.
But you stay in black business, though. See, if you don't have a black platform, what the fuck are you talking about black people for?
I don't have a black platform.
Really? I can't tell. You dabble in black business. So don't say it. And she trying to say that as if, well, why are you guys saying that? Oh, no. See, you're doing it, though, because it's profitable. And then you got Sambos and Sambits around you that'll sit up there and play that game with you and let you disrespect them like that. But see, family, I'm going to throw this out here again. Ask yourself this question. That woman isn't from the UK. She's from right here in the Midwest of America. She knew she couldn't launch nothing like that over here because you ain't going to find too many foundational black Americans, especially that's going to let you get that off. And even if you would have launched it over here and tried to get some tethers to go up there, we would have quickly like, hey, them motherfuckers don't speak for us. So you had to run your little pale, chalky ass over there to the UK and pull that off. See, y'all ever see, a lot of people had never really asked that question before. All the money that she got, because her folks are rich, why she didn't start it over here? See, family, that let you know she understand everything about the dynamics between foundational black Americans and people who are continental Africans and Caribbeans. Our mindsets, by and large, are different when it comes to white supremacy and anti-black racism. I want y'all to remember that the next time somebody starts bringing her up, ask the question, why she ran over there to start that platform? Because we ain't going to tolerate that over here. No, you're not going to be speaking on our issues and have people not of our lineage sitting up here representing us. We don't play that kind of crap. We shutting all that down. But anyway, let's let her get back to it. I ain't done yet.
Why can't we call a hoe a hoe? Trust me, there are hoes in every color. Oh my God, trust me. And how to be a good wife. What's a good wife? They go off the title.
You ain't a wife. You not a wife. How you gonna speak about what's a good wife when that's a job you never performed? You see how stupid anybody would have to be to listen to this woman, man? How to be a good wife? How the fuck would you know? Unless you got some marriage you hadn't told nobody about. And look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna go in here again. I don't know who would be down on their luck enough to marry that. I don't care how much money people got. I just couldn't do it. Oh no, I couldn't do it. I don't speak on something that you ain't never done before. See, let me tell you the way to do that, right? I'm gonna be objective for a second. The way to do that is, okay, you know you've never been a wife, then every woman that you get on your platform needs to be married, and you let them speak on what it takes to be a good wife. You're not qualified, Pearly. Chances are you never will be, because see, we know that you like to ride the soul pole over there with the tether class, so the white men look at you as damaged goods. Yeah, so you can hang that up. There's no white man of any comparable wealth status to your father that is going to be interested in you. And I know you can't stand that. I know it eats you up. Oh, I know it. I know it. She ain't got to admit it. I know it. Because see, when they can't get what they want amongst their own men, they go nuclear. Oh, yeah. They'll destroy any and everything. And see, that's a conversation for another day, because see, I'm going to have to really go into long form on that. But we're going to finish breaking her down here tonight with these statements she made, because like I said, man, somebody going to have to tackle this the right way. Let's let her continue.
And they don't even watch it. And then they make a reaction video saying that I said something I didn't, or my show's about something it's not. You know, I'm not going to say we've never touched on a black topic in a year of shows, but shit, in terms of how often, it's really not. And that's it. Why wouldn't he go through the shows? Why wouldn't he do his due diligence when he spent time with me, he's met me, and we had a great relationship up until he made this hit piece? And the other accusation he had, you could have had black people in the same room. We did. We did a whole panel with black people in the black. I mean, it was a mix of races, but we certainly had black people there too. So again, it's all of these reaction channels saying this is how you should run the show, but none of them have done it. None of them are that successful. And they want to tell us how to run our shows. And the other thing, you know what, and MTR, here's the thing. I am really not about bringing out private things behind the scenes to public. I think it's trashy. But if you're going to publicly accuse me of things and you're going to publicly make a hit piece on me, then I have to publicly defend myself.
Now, what's crazy is that I came across these comments while I was live streaming a couple of days ago. And what
you found out on live is about the clips is just not true. You know it's not true. I don't know why you're lying to your audience.
General, and not once in the interview did you have at least one pro-black stance.
MTR, you said yourself before you released the video, when I asked you, did you watch the full interview? You said no. So how do you even know? Because that's the thing. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what's right. He doesn't care what's true. He cares about appeasing his audience. And that's what all these reaction channels are doing to you.
And along with my accountability, this is now my definitive stance. I can no longer support or associate myself with the Just Pearly Things platform.
MTR, if you don't want to work with me, I fully support that. You don't want to associate with me, I fully support that. Why are you still making money off of the clips from the show on my channel? I'm so offensive. You better take those off. Because now I certainly don't give you permission to use those, because why would I? You don't want to associate with the brand, so take them off. Stop making money off of them. And that's what these people do. They're absolute hypocrites.
I've also have a no beef policy on my platform.
You have a no beef policy on my platform, but you make a hit piece on me? And this is what he's going to do, because this is what the reaction channels do. They never apologize, and they just double down. Then you know what he's going to do? He's going to find another clip, take it out of context, and then say, oh no, well now that I've watched the full interview. And this is the principle. It's not even that he may have been offended. It's that we are grown adults and you could call me. And yet you choose to go to the internet first. Now, I don't know, where was honor, where was respect, and where was dignity? If someone has been kind enough to allow me into their studio, to, you know, I even introduced you to my family, to spend days shooting content with you.
Oh boy, just listen to this Karen whine on and on and on and on. See, listen to how she's sounding, right? Because we got to make sure we teach young black people what these anti-black racist Karens are, these alabasters here. She's running down this whole list of things, and basically what she really wants to say and what's in her mind is, little nigger, I brought you around my family. Listen to the tone that she's talking to him in. You should have called me. Brought you around my sister. Spent all this time with you. Brought you into my studio. Look, I would dare wager she probably had a crush on MTR. And see, I agree with the brother Charlie X in the chat room. It's his fault for being off code enough to deal with the health in the first place because, see, before Jason Black even came out with what he did, she was making all types of disrespectful statements. Okay? All types of them. But see, when you look the other way and give that coon a pass, that's what happens. Oh, that's what happens. See, family, it's why we don't play with white supremacists. Because, see, when things don't go their way, especially with that white supremacist female, they turn on you and do this. And see, I'm going to tell you why he better be thankful. He better be thankful that she didn't come out and make some type of accusation about him trying to sexually harass her or something like that. Because I wouldn't put it past her. I would not put it past her. I really wouldn't. See, you play with fire when you go over there dealing with these people over there in the dominant society that are white supremacists. Because again, I'm going to make sure I drill down on this point. A white person that wasn't a white supremacist wouldn't have sat up there laughing and agreeing with Nick Fuentes on the different things that she did. If you laughing with somebody, you're in agreement with them. Think about it. If somebody says something, let's just say all of you in the chat room gathered in here tonight. If you were in a debate with somebody, okay, cordial, formal, civilized debate, and you're combating talking points and ideologies, and then a person says something that you don't agree with, would the proper response be to sit up there and laugh with them about it as if you did? That's sending mixed messages. You see what I'm saying? See, but we're not supposed to be smart enough to understand that. You laugh with him because you have the same ideology. And see, let me tell you what I further saw when she was sitting there laughing with him. You got to really think deep about how these people interact with each other. That laughter, they were laughing because these things are familiar to them around their families. Do you understand that? You share laughter about things that you have a camaraderie with. You see what I'm saying? I would guarantee they were like, yeah, I heard these same things from my grandparents. You see what I'm saying? Oh, but see, these Sambos, they don't think that deeply into these things because they don't take threats seriously until these white supremacists will have them in a situation where they're hemmed up. And then the first people they come looking for is those of us on the black grassroots and new black media. I'm going to tell you, my policy is if I see you Samboing out there like that, you're on your own. Don't come to this platform. That's my policy on it. You won't get help from me. I'm not going to speak for nobody else, but that's my policy. I see you out there buck dancing, shucking and jiving. Again, I'm not mocking him. Christian Obumseli. When his white girl stabbed him to death, the next thing they want to do is come running to us for help. I'm like, no. He was making all types of Wakata statements and all that about our people. No, let your people deal with that. They can ride for you. You're going to respect my people if I'm going to help you. But hey, let's let it continue because, see, we too silly to know any of these things that I'm talking about.
And then you turn around and say you can't associate with the network? What is courageous? To make a hit piece on me? To appease your audience? What's more courageous, to do that? Or to go with the narrative, what everyone's saying? And you know what? You might not say it today, you might not say it tomorrow, but you are absolutely wrong for this. You are absolutely wrong. You quote unquote left the manosphere, but you're still in it. And okay, and let's talk about defamation of character. So this is the thumbnail that MTR put of me. He said, in quotes, that and insinuating that I said that slavery was not that bad. I did not say that. And in fact, in the clip, I said that it was horrible.
The founder of, or the guy who made Root said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible. It was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people in a way.
How is it not defamation of character to say that I said something I didn't say in the thumbnail? You know, and it's one thing when you do that to someone random or whatever, but you know, and these random clips that circulate on YouTube, but I work on YouTube. That's my livelihood. And it's funny because they act like they care about Black issues, but yet they're trying to damage the reputation of a network that hires majority Black employees. And without even asking the employees, are they offended? How did they take it? And so that's what I'm saying. These content creators get outraged for my employees who were not mad. I didn't even hear about it till after he left. And everyone's going to say, oh, they're secretly offended. They just couldn't tell you. And that's how I know nobody's stepped a foot in my studio, because they absolutely will tell me if they agree, if they don't agree, but they all know signing up to work here, we have controversial guests. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the thumbnail. That's not legal either. It's defamation of character to put in quotes and insinuate I said something I didn't say. I said in that exact clip that you saw, you watched, you reacted to, it wasn't that horrible. And when I asked you, why would you put that I said something I didn't say? Well, it's how the comments interpreted it. And that's not what I meant. And you know it's not what I meant. And that's the worst part, is he knows I'm not a racist. He knows all of this stuff. And I beg you, MTR, name one instance we had where I treated any of my employees unfairly, where I was rude to any of my employees, where I was rude to you, where I was rude to any of our mutual friends. And you know what? In hindsight, I probably would have put out a statement saying he had nothing to do with the Nick Fuentes interview. And I would have been happy to do that if he asked me. But he didn't ask me. And, you know, when you're being called by everyone in the book and then your friend tries to pile on. And again, all of the ideas that I spoke about were from Thomas Sowell, an author of 80 books on the topic. So you could say maybe as a white woman, I shouldn't have said anything about it, but I certainly was quoting someone else. And that's the crazy thing. Oh my gosh. So
that's what they always pull. Cause see, this is why we have such contempt for the book dance ensemble class like Thomas Sowell. They know that when they come out there shucking and jiving, white people will do what she just did right here. Young Black people, pay attention.
I was quoting Thomas Sowell, or I was quoting Jesse Lee Peterson. I was quoting Candace Owens.
See, they love using a flunky to put in front of them as a shield. Again, I put this to the audience over here tonight. Why don't you ever hear them quoting anybody else except for people that are talking negatively about Black society? If you just had such an interest in Black scholars, like Thomas Sowell is the only Black scholar out there, huh? You see what I'm saying? See, I love it when they get to talking like this. I love it. Because see, let's look at something else. When she came out with this, look how long it took her to come up with this bullshit. See, this was her and her team sitting there concocting and crafting a statement for her to come out with. But see, you should have just closed your mouth, Pearly. Because all you did is expose more of what you really are. The amount of gaslighting this is astronomical. Oh my God, man. It's ridiculous. I like it though. This is what you want them to do. See, this is why I'm not for silencing or censoring any of the platforms. I want all of them to have full range to say whatever they need to say, as long as we can rebut with whatever we need to rebut with. Fair use, fair use. So let her get back to it.
I decided, why don't I put out an apology video? Just as a test. I wanted to see, would the mob be happy? No, they never accept your apology. And did MTR backtrack and say, you know what? Given that I have spent this much time with her, I was more than willing to work with her before. I had no issues before. But now when the crowd goes one way, I'm going to go with it. Now let's show another clip that could be taken out of context and make it look like this man is racist against white people.
What are we doing to white people? And I was going to say erasing them, which I agree we are, you know, with every interracial relationship, you know, white people, we're immigrating, they're not having babies, we're erasing them. I thought that's where it's going to go.
We're not erasing them.
I thought the Chinese guy was going to be like, hey, man, you know what we doing? We bringing our people. We taking over, right? And I was going to celebrate it.
You was about to celebrate it.
Yeah, the future.
But it is white people's fault.
What is?
Everything.
What are we doing to white people?
I don't know, taking the skin and wearing it.
But you know what? You don't do that.
See, now I want you to pay attention to something else. That was I've Been Preached that she played that clip on. Now, they are comedians, but let's be clear. They weren't joking when they said that. Let me explain what I mean. When they said that hey, we're wiping them out by dating them and all that, they really do think that they're doing that. You have a lot of tether class. They think they're being smarter than everybody else by getting in interracial relationships with them. Here's the problem. We've covered that many times over here for a number of decades. I don't care whether you're a black man or a black woman, you have zero power in an interracial relationship with a white person. Why? Because they have an entire system of white supremacy that gives them more authority over you than you will ever have over them. That's it. But see, they actually do believe that. That's the part that I'm saying they wasn't joking about. They were clowning around on that, but in their minds, if you just look at how a lot of them operate, especially over there in the UK, I got to keep it a buck. They're only like 6% of the population over there, but they really do think that they're doing something when they hop up in an interracial relationship. And then when you run into a white supremacist like Burly Pearly over here, they get shocked when they turn on them. Trying to tell you, family. I'm going to let her get back to it. Fair use.
Because I know the context. I know he was kidding. But that's what a lot of these reaction channels do. They wait for you to slip up. O'Shea claims to support the black community, yet he constantly goes after organizations that support black content creators. How can you say you're pro-black when... honestly, between me and Fresh and Fit, we employ more black people than you do. So after the...
Oh, yeah. Let me go ahead and deal with that right now. Oh, yep. Let's deal with that right now. See, I told you we're going to get this straightened up over here tonight. I'm going to say it one more time. How many black people you employ don't have a damn thing to do with whether you pro-black or not. See, you don't let white people run the discussion on our issues like that. Now... to O'Shea's credit, he does employ continental Africans over there. He worked with continental Africans and African Americans over here, whatever you want to call us, foundational black Americans. The problem is trying to judge pro-black off of hiring people does not fit the criteria. If you're not operating in the best interest of black people on the whole, not picking bits and pieces here and there, you can't call yourself pro-black. And then the other thing that I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, saying it over and over does not make you pro-black. Where the fuck are you when those of us over here in New Black Media are tackling issues like what happened to our brother Jordan Neely and everything else as far as reparations? See, you can't duck your head in the sand and hide on the issues as far as producing justice for our people and then hop out talking about, I'm pro-black. And no. You can say that, but pro-blackness requires actions online and offline. All you have to do is look at the difference between the platforms that claim they are versus the ones that actually are, that actually have solid work online and offline. Our credentials are platinum plated over here, man. I'm going to leave that right there. It's self-explanatory, but I want you to hear her take on it because, see, this is how she sees things. And if no black person steps up to correct these lies, they'll be taken as fact by other people. But there's going to be one platform over here that corrects it, and it's going to be this one. Let's let it continue.
The apology video. I said, okay, let's see how brave these men are. So I asked Obsidian to host a debate, and I said, everyone that has had so much to say about me, come on the stream. Nobody showed up. I'm a firm believer that if you truly believe something about someone, you should be able to say it to their face. And all you couldn't even show up to a stream. And you know what? If I was this diehard racist that they think, why didn't they show up? You should want to tell off a racist. Tell me how horrible I am. How could you?
See, let me. Oh, but this is almost hilarious when I heard her make this statement. Let me get something straight. And Pearl, I'm talking directly to you when I'm saying this. You and all the other white supremacists. Over here in New Black Media circles, we operate from a standpoint of black empowerment. We don't need to come debate you about whether you're a white supremacist or not when we've already got the evidence. That's high school shit. You can't taunt us into. What are we going to talk to you about? There's nothing to discuss. We already know what you are. Okay? See, that doesn't work with us. Now, it'll work with that Sambo class over there. It'll work with them. We're not impressed by you at all. You don't control any narrative that has to do with the business of our people. We decide what the threats are. See, they're not used to, especially a black man or a black person in general, but especially a black man saying what I just said, that you don't run shit and you don't summon me at your beck and call. We already determined what you are. And as far as wanting to tell off a rate, for what? We're not interested in a war of words with you. We're interested in breaking the system that you benefit from. That's what we operate to do over here in New Black Media Spaces. Playing verbal ping pong with you going back and forth gains us nothing. We got bigger fish to fry. We leave that to the people that don't have sense enough to understand what we're up against. So I'm going to say it one more time. You don't summon us anywhere. We're not sitting around looking for apologies and pointless debates. I tell you what you do. You want to talk to any of us over here in New Black Media Spaces, you better come with that bag. You better come with it. You got to earn that. I don't care whether it's the smallest platform or the greatest. You got to earn that. You're not worthy to speak to any of us on any damn thing because, let's be clear, you can pick any one of us and put us in a debate against her. Man, that would be an embarrassment. This woman is an airhead. She has to have her producers right next to her ear feeding her talking points. She doesn't have an original thought in her head, which is exactly why I made the statement that I made, and I stand on it, about Thomas Sowell. That is not an intellectual. When you have to regurgitate things from other people, you do not have an original thought in your head to stand on, and you damn sure don't belong in a debate with a competent person that can tear your ass up one day side and down the other. That's why I stand on that. Let's let her continue.
Spend hours and hours and hours listening to me talk, but you can't stand by what you said. And this is the thing about these reaction channels. What's courageous? Courageous is going against the mob. And honestly, a lot of these reactors are no better than the feminists that paint a narrative about men. A lot of feminists, you know, they might take a clip or take a snippet of a story and say, he did this, he did that, he's this. And these goddamn content creators do the same thing. And you could say what I said was inaccurate, maybe insensitive, but to say you questioned my morals? Are you kidding me? And that's the thing. We live in this society where we no longer can give people the benefit of the doubt. And that's the worst part, is that MTR didn't even watch the full video. Even though he met my sister, he spent a bunch of time with me. He came over to see me in London. We shot so much content for him. He still couldn't even give me the benefit of the doubt and felt like he needed to cater to his audience. Do you know who I respect? I respect the content creators that doubled down because they knew me. Anton Daniels, he got a lot of pushback for defending me. Obsidian, he got a lot of pushback for defending me.
She's cool with me. I wouldn't call her a friend, but it is definitely a person that I've had multiple different conversations to. She's added value into my life behind the scenes, gave me some game. I gave her, hopefully reciprocated and gave her some game. We didn't kick it in person. She'd have met my wife.
But they know me in real life. So they know I've been nothing but polite. They know that I do my best to be friendly and kind to people. And they refuse to profit off of me. And I'm not trying to paint myself as a victim. I do very well on YouTube. You guys aren't going to stop me. You're not really going to bring me down. MTR says he's against cancel culture, and he accuses brands of bending to the will of the woke mob. But what did you just do?
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. And I'm going to remain professional. But it just bothers me that companies still will buckle to the whim of this bullshit. Now you guys see the uphill battle in real time that I have to climb, that the content creators in this space have to climb. We've set a whole bunch of firsts in here. One of the first is actually having brands and sponsorship that come down in here and show us respect. And at the drop of a Thanos click, a Thanos snap, they take it away. Why? Because the victims come out of the woodwork and say, he's misogynistic. The weaponized term that has nothing to do with my channel. Has nothing to do with my channel, and you know it. I'm disappointed. But it shows the uphill battle that we have to climb.
Because you cannot tell me that you did that in good faith. What happened to good faith? You did that to protect your brand and to build your audience. And you know what? If that's how you want to play it, go do it. But, you know, a lot of people can see through this shit. And the truth always comes out. So you spoke about that, but this is the same way you're bending to the will of your audience. If you go on stream and say that you think I'm racist, go on stream and say that you think that you question my morals.
Select correctly, or if you let someone into your proverbial inner circle before that they have been properly vetted, these are the people that can bring you down to the abyss as well.
Oh! You're right. I could see how that would happen. And you know what? The worst part is this goddamn thumbnail, because he knows. I messaged him. Did I say that? He knows I didn't say that. And that's the thing. If he's willing to do this to me, I would say he was an acquaintance, maybe a friend, all right? If he was willing to do that to me, what's he willing to do to you?
Just keep this in mind as you are creating friendships throughout your life, is that when everything is going good, it's high time for your acquaintances. But when things are not so good, the acquaintances will slowly shift to the back.
Oh! Well. How is it not snake behavior to insinuate I'm racist and have bad morals after I allowed you onto my platform? After I paid for so much footage to be edited, cut. Also, I'd like to add, you disrespectfully made a video about me. You disrespectfully put something in the thumbnail and defamed my character and said I said something that I did not say. And you pretended to be concerned about my employees, but you didn't even reach out to them. And you know what? I'm going to disrespectfully post all of the footage that we took, because you know what? Honestly, that footage was fire and I'm making money off of it. And no, you do not have permission to use any clips on your channel. You know what? And I will. You know what? MTR. I'll give you a video. I already know how the reaction channels do it. So I'm sure he's just going to double down, find another clip that Pearl looks like is an ill will. Pearl looks bad. And you know what? I'm sure he's going to find something else to paint me in a certain light. And you know what? That was a pretty controversial conversation, so I'm sure he's going to find it. And you know what? I'll give you a chance. You can come. If you admit you messed up, maybe we can repair this. No, not right now. Not right now. And that's what honestly all these reaction channels do. They just pull clips and like they're looking for it. And guys, you're going to start to see it after some point. Also, MTR, I'm asking that you take down all videos of us together on your channel, because you don't want to be associated with my platform. So I'm giving you the opportunity to pull all clips, because I don't want to have to copyright strike you, but I'm appeasing to your wishes. And if you want to disrespectfully diss me on a video, then I will disrespectfully tell you that we will copyright strike you if you do not remove the videos. And also, guys, we're re-uploading the videos of Nick Fuentes. And if you want to see the full videos and see all of the context, go on to our Rumble. That link is in the description.
Now, let me go ahead and point something out about her talking about, oh, if you guys want to see the whole video, it's in the link in the description and all that. Okay. It's one thing not to be able to put that type of content on YouTube. Rumble pretty much lets you, look, the only way you can't put something on Rumble or they'll make you take that down, you have to put something about outright murder or something so egregious to the point that it's breaking the law. She took that down off Rumble on her own volition. For what? One thing I will say about that platform, and by the way, we are going to start cooking over there very soon. I've got some things I'm testing to make sure that the format is right before we do. But one thing that I can say about Rumble is they let you say what you want to say on there as long as you are not breaking the law. Okay? So they didn't make her take that down. You look, for them to make you take something off Rumble, it's got to be so extreme to the point, like I said, that you are doing something that's absolutely illegal. Okay? So for her sitting up there talking about, oh, y'all can go see it now. Yeah, you putting it back up now because you know you've been outed for what you are. You may as well see. We're going to force white supremacists to stand on their square. She doing all this talk about integrity, this, that, the third. Just come out and admit what you are. See, I'm going to tell you what she pissed off about, though, family. She's actually mad because, see, this has ruined her chances of hopping on things like Fox News or whatever she might have been angling for. It's over with now. You out for what you actually are. So you may as well go and work for the Daily Wire or something like that. Just go ahead and join your white supremacist counterparts. That's what it is. Those are your brethren over there. You're not going to waffle your way in and out of being over here in black society. That day is done. Even if the Sambos give you a pass, those of us in new black media, we're going to expose you for the white supremacist piece of trash that you are. And now you're going to keep exposing yourself because your behavior is doubling down on what you really are. This is why I don't want her to be quiet. I don't want any of them silenced. Let them talk long enough and they give you everything you need to know how to deal with them accordingly. Let's let her continue.
Another instance that ABBA and Preach did this is with Fresh and Fit. So ABBA and Preach tried to say that Fresh and Fit laughed at a proud grapist. Charleston Wright. But the reality is he was talking about his past and why people shouldn't take his path. That's what he was talking about on the platform. And that's what they do. Okay. You can have someone on the show that's controversial, that's made mistakes in the past. And if you get along with them, if you're kind to them, if you're polite to them, they try to frame it like you believe what you believe. You support what they support. And these men, that all they do is react. They've never brought on guests. They've never done a live in studio. Not well anyway, to the point that anyone knows who they are. They want to tell us how to do it. And honestly, and it's very hypocritical because ABBA and Preach have laughed at grape jokes, male grape jokes. And, I could pull a clip from there and do the YouTube blood sport and paint them out a certain way.
Me personally, when I see a girl with like a nice booty, I'm always like, I like you and I want you. And I'm going to have you.
Now, I tell you what, I like you and I want you. Now, we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
Well, I don't think you and I will be doing anything any kind of way.
Okay, I see you choosing the hard way.
Okay, cut. This isn't working. Someone get this guy out.
No, that's bro. And that's disturbing.
Lee Johnson, booty warrior.
I don't want to do that.
See, let me show you what she called herself trying to do. The issue is her anti-black racism, sitting up there agreeing with your fellow white supremacist, Nick Fuentes. That's the main issue people are addressing. But what she's trying to do is pull everything in front of her. What about these guys? What about those guys? See, this is how they operate. Instead of dealing with what you did and what you were called out for, you said slavery was embellished. I'll let the Jewish community fend for themselves. That's not my people. When you brought my people into it and disrespected us, brought the subject up first before the hardcore white supremacist Nick Fuentes even said anything about it. He didn't mention anything about it until you did. This is our issue with you. You're not going to shift the blame and pull everybody else in front of you and get out of this. Oh, no, we're not going to let you do that. We're going to make you wear this albatross around your neck. You ain't got no choice. You out there now. It is what it is.
And, I understand there's always going to be entertainment value. I understand that. But it's just getting to a point where we're starting to defame people's characters. And I'm just tired of the lying. I'm so tired of the lying. And the other thing that's insulting is a lot of these reactors that are pretending to stand up for my employees are calling them slaves.
The colonial mindset of Pearl has people working on her quote-unquote plantation.
That's why Pearl is a modern-day female slave master.
As if I am a slave master? Are you crazy? Oh my God, are you nuts? How insulting. It's like they're standing up for my employees by calling them slaves. What the?
Let me correct that right now. The people that are calling you out about that, now, Sarah Garvey, hey, you already knew what she was like. You waited till a certain time when it was advantageous for you to speak on it. That's something else to deal with entirely. But every one of us who have called you out and spoke on how you treat your employees, let me tell you something. It's not even about us standing up for them just because they're too silly to understand when they're being disrespected by a woman that has a damn white supremacist in the studio talking down to her and her damn staff. We're not defending them. If they're too silly to sit up there and speak for themselves, no, we're calling it out and saying to you, Pearl, that just because those black people are silly enough to let you get away with that, you know which ones won't let you get away with that. That's the statement we're making. They're grown. They can fend for themselves. They're not stupid. They know what racism and white supremacy is. If they choose to ignore that because you kicking them peanuts under the table and underpaying them, that's their business. We're not going to let you play that game. Again, that's why you ran your ass over to the UK to do that platform, because you know you couldn't do it over here. It would have never got off the ground over here. And I guarantee you she probably won't come back over here and try to keep that going, because you're not going to be having people outside of our lineage speak for those of us in foundational Black American society. We drawing the line on that. We cut that bullshit off. Everything we dealing with over here right now in this climate, you know damn well she ain't finna come back over here and try that crap. But anyway, let's let her continue, because she got a lot more to say and we're going to keep on dissecting it.
You guys are absolutely insane. And again, all of these reactors have never successfully had a YouTube show. And they want to tell us how to do their show. And it's like, if I don't like the way a show is run, I just don't watch it. But all of these reactors want to insert their opinions and tell them how we should have our conversations and in what way we should have our conversations, when it's like, you guys haven't done it successfully. Most of you are small, and none of you have had a live show. That's like me telling you how to clip people out of context. I don't know how to do that. A lot of these YouTube channels, they do it to anyone that's bigger than them. They're just looking for someone big that they can tear down. Like, look at this business guy. He did this shit to Kevin Samuels, the godfather of the Manosphere.
The problem. You see, the problem with Kevin the Perfume Don, let me put y'all up on some manhood for a moment here and some real facts. Because, by the way, he's still repeating this garbage that the average male weight has not increased since 1965. I corrected him about that last year. He's still running around lying and talking about men have only gained 5 pounds since 1969 and women have gained 30. Nonsense. They both gained about the same amount of weight, according to the CDC website. And he's still lying because he has a narrative that he wants to look down on women about. So he just lies about things. And none of y'all who claim you were learning anything, none of you have ever called him up to correct him and say, hey, dude, I can't ride with you telling outright lies to make your point. You can make a point, but if you got to lie to make a point, it's not something worth giving.
And he said that Kevin Samuels was lying in order to tear down Black women. Do you know how disrespectful that is? And in this clip,
what Jason said was what he said. And that was self-explanatory. I don't care who it is. Anytime you start dealing with something that is not fact and someone's intelligent enough to point out that you are incorrect, that's not disrespectful. That's what's called the truth. You can like it or not. The truth don't give a damn who tell it. The truth don't care if you like it or not. The truth is the truth. There's nothing to add to or take away from what Jason said. But see, I bet y'all know one thing her thin-lipped ass won't do. You won't call her in over there on the business. You damn sure won't dial up on those Zoom call. You know better than that. Because you about as smart as a damn box of rocks. Unless you got people right in your ear coaching you on what to say, you know you're not going to have no conversation with that man. Because he can shut your ass down with any lie that you try to tell. Let me explain something to you, Pearl. No matter what issue that we raise about anybody in our community, whether it was Kevin Samuels, rest his soul, that's an in-house issue for Black people to deal with. It's none of your damn business. And the business guy, now you know who Jason is. Oh, you know. Look, let me tell you how I know she know who he is. The reason why she took this long to come out with this, they had to properly instruct her on whether she should actually address him and keep the subject on the main issue. Because see, all these other people, they didn't call her out first. What you even putting them in? If anything, you would have had the bulk of your commentary for Brother Jason Black and left them at the end of it. But see, you know not to play that game, though. Yeah, you got that much sense. You know that, don't you? All these smoke screens and shields you trying to drag in front of you instead of the main issue, she know better. It's comical how she sit up here trying the business guy. Oh, now, you know, you had your whole team do research on the brother. Once you stop tap dancing and running and go ahead and call in over there, it's an open line for anybody. But see, you know not to do that because you're not dealing with somebody that's enamored by you because you're a white woman. You're going to be forced to stand on what you say, and we're going to take you to task for it. So you may as well stay over there on your channel whining and complaining about things because, see, you're just going to have to accept it. The Black people that are silly enough to let you disrespect them and not recognize you for the threat that you are, They're not every black person, okay? They don't speak for those of us that understand exactly what white supremacy is when we see it. We don't have to debate it and go around and around by it. We see what it is and we call it for what it is. And you are what you are. You might want to go ahead and collect up some more controversy. Go see if you can dig Jared Taylor out the ground somewhere. Tariq Nasheed finished him off. Okay, you better go find Richard Spencer. Well, Richard Spencer trying to reform his image, so he might not want to talk to you. There's plenty of them out there, though. Hell, go find David Duke. Go find him. I mean, you may as well just go ahead and lean into it, baby girl. Embrace your people. Go home where you belong. Let's let this chocolate piece of shit continue.
MTR, in this clip, how hypocritical is it of you to say that people should not have formed an opinion on Kevin Samuels without watching his full content, but yet you can make a reaction on me without watching the full video?
What's happening in the world today? I think that with the advent, may he, rest in peace and whatever you feel about him, Kevin Samuels, who he made a whole living off of going hard on us. He made a living.
Did you tune in? Did you listen?
I never, because I wouldn't let that get in my spirit.
Of course.
But my point is, he had a lot of men that I know and respect were following him and listening to him.
I thought that she was a journalist. So as a journalist, she formed her opinion about somebody that she didn't even watch his content? I mean, she just said it. Men that she respect followed him. So instead of trying to understand why you set up a false narrative of him and rebuke him from your life, you simply and utterly cannot make this up. Modern women today are conditioned not to care what men think, but are conditioned to only hearing how awesome they are. And that's exactly why most cannot keep us.
And this is the other issue with O'Shea Duke Jackson. He doesn't trust the employees to know if they work for someone or sexist or that hates black women. His words. And yet he thinks that he knows when he doesn't even live in this country. He's never even interacted with us. O'Shea, you've known King Richie's for a couple years now. Why didn't you sign him? You care so much about the black community, and you're the first to critique me, but I did what you didn't want to do. Why didn't you sign him? Now he's having more success than he's ever had, and he's incredibly talented, and he's worked so incredibly hard for that. But you're the first one to criticize me and call me names when I did what you could have done. And I did what you could have done immediately. I've only been, YouTube famous for maybe 6 months. And then I started helping other people. I started signing talent. And I know you've got your network. I know you've got your very mid set. But if you care so much, why didn't you do it? And MTR, what you did to me in the thumbnail was actually wrong. That was so wrong. Stay tuned for posting all the content that MTR do not want us to post because we do not care. And you guys agreed to it and you can't take back your consent. And also, MTR, I will expect all videos with me in it down within 48 hours because you do not want to associate with my brand. And I respect that. It's funny because what they're doing to me is exactly what I was talking about in the clip. They're using an atrocity to try to guilt me and try to control me, tell me who I should have on my platform, tell me the way I should run my show, tell me that I am not good to my employees, and that is what these undercover feminists do. I like having people that disagree. I like having all different forms of opinion, and I will not apologize for having somebody controversial on my podcast. I am more than willing in the future. And I would also like to extend an invitation. If somebody thinks I'm misinformed, DM me. Let's get you on the show. Tell me where I was wrong and tell me who I should have on the podcast to correct myself. But it's one thing when you want to correct me or say something's inaccurate, but it's another thing when you go after my character. To everyone that thinks that I was wrong for bringing Nick Fuentes on, to everyone that thinks I shouldn't be able to have guests from the far right or the far left, to everyone that doesn't believe in freedom of speech and bringing on canceled people, I am one of the last remaining platforms that still brings on people that have been kicked off of all platforms, including YouTube. And every day we fight so hard against cancel culture that we risk our entire platform by having people on. Now, it's crazy because we have CNN, BBC, Piers Morgan. They have the most controversial guests in the entire world on their show. For some reason, you get canceled for having controversial guests on your... And I'm young, and I still have a lot to learn. And we're not always going to get it right. But here at Just Pearly Things, we believe in freedom of speech. Here at Just Pearly Things, we believe in giving a platform to those who have none. And here at Just Pearly Things, we are going to continue to have controversial guests on again and again. And to those of you that don't like it, you can kiss my ass.
So there you have it. Oh, she just went off. We can all kiss her non-existent ass. Damn ironing board built bitch. But anyway, family, I heard these statements that she made about the brother Mediocre Tutorials and his cancer ordeal. Let me go on record and say this. Like I said, it's one thing to disagree with the ideology somebody has, but I would never make fun of somebody's medical situation. That was tasteless and classless. I'm not even going to replay that on my channel over here, all of that she was talking about. But see, family, let me tell you why I don't feel sorry for him outside of that. You're looking at a picture of him over here, and you know who these two clowns are on the next, the left and right of them. Those are the Hodge twins. Now, when I took him to task on my issue that I had with him in his initial statements coming out there trying to book dance and halfway defend Pearl before his chat room actually tried to wisen him up about what was going on. This is him back in the day dealing with the Hodge twins. You don't kick it with people like this and have them coon smiles showing unless you have the same ideology. So the point that I'm making is I don't give Sambos and coons a pass. I don't care how bright or intelligent they appear to be or how talented they appear to be. Again, there is no cosign she will get from me on mocking this brother over his deal with cancer. That just goes to show you further to prove what a white supremacist she is. Because see, she could have made all the statements that she made about her not approving of what his decision he chose to make after he found out about her or was forced to go ahead and admit what she was without bringing that up. That goes to show you what she is. And see, here's the other thing about a lot of them in the Black Manosphere space. They still are trying to deny the fact that Pearl is what she is. Now, a lot of them are upset because she chose to take that classless action towards the brother of Mediocre Tutorials over here, but that's about it. They're not going to call her out on what she is and the rest of it. So see, you don't play around and play footsie with these coon class people. Again, gonna agree with none of the statements she made about that brother Hill situation, but at the same time, is that somebody I'm gonna put the cape on for? Hell no. Because see, let me tell you something. He hadn't learned his lesson yet. Just like he's sitting up here kicking it with the Hodge twins, he probably best pals with them. I guarantee you ask him, oh, I'm best pals with the Hodge twins. I already know. Look at who the great majority of them associate with over there in that Black Manosphere space, okay? Yeah. Anyway, we got further proof that the Black Manosphere is not a pro-black space. Oh, yeah, we got further proof of that. Because, see, she made that statement, and a lot of people that don't know what that space is will probably take that and run with that. Let me tell you something. We're going to make that clear here tonight. And let me warn you in advance, this is going to be hard for you to hear. This man that you see here with these glasses on, he's deceased. His name is David Carroll. This is someone that they revere over there in the Black Manosphere spaces, okay? They quote him and call him Uncle Dave to this day. Let me tell you something. This is going to be some of the most offensive things you're going to ever hear. But I'm playing this to show you why you don't allow white women to speak and make claims about something that she don't even understand. She probably don't even know who the hell David Carroll is. Well, I'm pretty sure she's heard the name, but probably isn't familiar with his ideology. Let me tell you something. You can't idolize or hold anybody in high esteem that's going to say the things that he's going to say. I'm going to play this, and I'm doing it for a reason because we're going to make a point about that. And let me tell you something. Some of the same people that she mentioned, calling them out, talking about they not being pro-black, oh, they hold David Carroll in high esteem. You listen to this and tell me if you can be pro-black. Let's let him talk.
One of the arguments that was used to defend slavery was that if you release this Negro, if you allow him to go free, at some point in in the future, he is going to destroy your civilization. Fast forward into the future, you had Birth of a Nation, which, by the way, I consider to be a historically accurate film, one of my favorite films. But Birth of a Nation also tried to warn America about this Negro, of which many people considered The Birth of a Nation racist. They said this is a racist film, the way it depicted black people. They said this is racist. But it tried to warn you. Now when we view the Negro in 2015, we would have to admit that those pro-slavery advocates and Mr. Griffith, the creator of Birth of a Nation, were not racist. They were in fact prophets.
The black woman, the modern day black woman, is not today.
Now you heard David Carroll, who is deceased, make those statements. He praised one of the most racist, white supremacist pieces of propaganda to ever depict our people in a degenerate and pejorative light as accurate, and said that the people, D.W. Griffith and everybody else, were prophets. This is one of the Black Manosphere people that they revere, who she thinks is a pro-black space. Right now, today, you mentioned David Carroll over there. Oh, they hold him in high regard because a lot of them think just like that. Oh, he ain't done yet. I want to make this point stick here because, see, I want to teach you all that you do not let them, white people in dominant society, speak for us in any type of way because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You thought that was bad. It gets even worse. I'm going to let him talk. These are his words. His channel is still up. A lot of this you can still find over there. I'm going to let him talk.
Nor has she ever been your woman. She's not your friend. She doesn't have your best interest at heart. Her allegiance is somewhere else. Her trust is in someone else. Her love and adoration is for someone else. And that person that she devotes all of her energy in pleasing is her slave master. That's the first thing that you have to understand. The second thing is likened to the first. And it could be under the stuff as a footnote. That is a footnote. And that is, the black female is your enemy.
The reason why you black bitches lead the nation in abortions, you are aborting black men's babies. We know you are not aborting no white man's child. No way. And I've done videos on this in the rabbit hole, pointing out and outlining for y'all that the majority of these black bitches, that is what they desire, that is what they want. A mongrel, half-breed, dirty baby with green eyes and fucking good hair.
Not only do I know you Negroes like the back of my hand, I know y'all's community like the back of my hand. And this is the reason why I'm going to prove in this video that that cop really didn't rape these women. It is my contention that those relationships were consensual.
Mind you now, you saw that and heard him. He made the claim that Daniel Holesclaw, who raped those black women, he's making a claim that those were consensual relationships. Do you see how suicidally insane a lot of these coons over there are? Because look, he's deceased. They still believe shit like this. You can hear them make statements like this all across all the platforms in the Black Manosphere. No, it is not just 3 damn people. Anybody that said that do not understand what the space is, okay? I'm playing this for a reason because, see, when she made the statement that the Black Manosphere is a pro-black space, last time I checked, you can't be pro your people and make statements like this. He ain't done yet. I want y'all to listen to this. This is David Carroll, yet again, who is deceased. This is someone that they revere and idolize over there in that space, and they agree with a lot of his talking points. Let him continue.
Why do you think they got so wet over scandal? Why do you think that shit turned them on so much? That's their fantasy. To be ravished by a white man. That's the reason why they had no problem with slavery. They wish they were slaves so that they could be raped. They like that.
What I've told y'all repeatedly is that this black bitch has an overpriced tag on that snatch, on that rotten sewer between her fucking legs. It's overpriced. Because that's one thing that black men do quite well, is being fucking idiots. They're a dumb group of men. I mean, I've said this and y'all know this. They're not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and they most certainly are not the brightest bug on the fucking tree.
She doesn't feed her children vegetables. She doesn't feed her children any kinds of fruit. She feeds them garbage. So we're not talking about your mother's generation. When we talk about the black female being the enemy of black men, we're talking about this modern day black bitch. This heifer who has nothing to bring to a relationship table other than the size of her ass. You can't talk to her. She lacks basic communication skills. You can't reason with her. She fails to understand anything that you say. What he done is he began to connect the dots. And he began to see for himself that modern day black women are the enemy of black men. I know this is hard. I know you brothers don't want to accept it. I know you brothers don't believe it. I know you brothers will not embrace this.
When people hear me give my pet phrase concerning black women that the DSM needs to seriously consider labeling being a black female as a mental disorder.
Let me. So now you heard that was David Carroll, the deceased David Carroll. You would have to be some type of blithering stone cold fool to think that a space can be pro-black if they have talking, because they have made talking points taken from his rhetoric over the years when he was alive. And some of them, believe it or not, are worse than that. Because see, I've told y'all before about that damn black pill space. And he was a member of that black pill community, and that was that's how they speak. In case any of you ever wondered what the black pill was, that's a representative of it right there. Taking the worst or the lowest common denominator amongst black women and making that the face of all black women. See, these black incels are dangerous. See, I told you, I'm gonna have to do the broadcast on that, breaking that ideology down and all these different pills. Oh boy, they love to take all the different pills over there. But see, a lot of these silly women that's over there in these spaces caping for these people, they don't understand it. Ask about David Carroll. Oh yeah, David Carroll was a brilliant man. See, this motherfucker hated black women and black people. Don't you never let nobody like Pearly declare, oh, the Black Manosphere is a pro-black space. The hell? Nope. None of them will never come out and denounce David Carroll for what he just said. They revere him. The greater majority of them do. Okay? Now, I want you to listen to what Mediocre Tutorials had to say about her disgusting comments. Because, see, we got to break some things down. Now, I already told you, this guy is a coon. He is. I'm going to call him what he is. Despicable comments that she made about him. But I want to play something here because I'm going to point something out. And you're going to see one of the problems that I have with what he said here, because he still didn't get to the heart of the matter. Let's let him talk.
I also say this is that I've talked about this on my platform before, that this is not a beefing platform, but to say that I was a bit surprised that my condition was brought up on a platform that's supposed to support men or give advice for men in a joking or a trolling manner is the literal definition of hypocrisy, the literal definition of irony. But such is life. Now, to catch some people up, in the fall of 2021, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. Actually, I have a video up on the channel where a few hours removed of my diagnosis, I made a video speaking about what has happened and what will happen going into the future, after which I took about 30 days off to mentally collect myself as I was physically healing through this bout. It was without a doubt one of the most traumatic experiences that I've gone through within my life, and with anybody who's gone through
a cancer diagnosis, or anybody that has a family member or a loved one that has gone through cancer, you guys all know exactly what it is that I'm speaking about. I released that video because I had one goal in mind, and that goal was to save lives. Now, prior to me clicking publish on the I Have Cancer video, I knew that certain unscrupulous people on the internet, those that will troll to entertain themselves, or just haters in general, will stop at nothing to use information like that, especially information that they think that you're self-conscious about, to utilize that as ammunition, to weaponize that information against me. But through that, I chose to release that video because my goal is to help men. And if I have the opportunity to save lives because I speak about something that's not given enough airtime within this society, then I absolutely will. And I would never take back that decision, especially after receiving email after email from people affected, from mothers and fathers saying thank you because of what you said and urging men to go get their physicals and their screenings. You have saved my son's life. And my response to them is, if I had the opportunity, I would absolutely do it again. All of the hate that I have received, all of the people alleging that I've never had cancer, they can all kick rocks because I want to deliver value to this world at the end of the day. Now, to everybody that's just like, yo, roast them up, bring them to the barbecue. I'm gonna let you guys know right now that this is not gonna be this type of video. Another person that I consulted with and I showed the original cringe video to was my pops. And ever since I was a little kid, I've always leveraged my pops on how to handle unique situations like this. And of course, he gave me the, when they go low, you go high. So he said, ignore it. Don't even respond to it. But then I thought to myself that there's a lot of young men today that are dealing with bullies, they're dealing with enemies, they're dealing with opposition, and they don't know how to handle the situation, or they emotionally react to something instead of logically respond to it. So I want to bring you guys through my thought process of how I contextualize this situation to allow me to be happy, chipper, and just go on my day. So I'm gonna utilize this as a teaching lesson, as well as you guys to understand a little bit more about insights regarding me, because maybe I'm tripping, all right? Maybe this is just completely funny, ha, kiki. It's fair game to utilize shame and insults, and specifically a cancer diagnosis or laughing at a cancer diagnosis, in order to exact revenge upon our enemies, right? So in order to understand that, let's understand first the context of the situation. So here's the long story short version of the situational context. And it's as follows. Just Pearly Things does content with Nick Fuentes. I land in London a month later, unaware that this content was done, and did not watch the content before coming into London. I get back from London, the story blows up, and I slowly come to the realization of the gravity of said comments and decide to distance myself away from the Just Pearly Things network and platform. Now, before I drop my video entitled Holding Just Pearly Things Accountable, I called Pearl, had a conversation with her, and told her that I'm going to publicly distance myself away from her platform, as well as her offering to me to not air the footage of the Red Pill Bachelor. And let me also talk about this. The reason why I chose to do that is because people would still associate my brand towards her if future content was released on her platform. I never addressed that video again on my platform, and even live streams that I've had where people have asked me specific questions, I have chosen to not say a damn thing. I left her alone, I left her platform alone, and I continued to create the content that I wanted to create. But over a month later, I am now one nut, laugh, bringing up and making light of a man's bout with cancer seems like a disproportional response to me. There's gonna be a lot of people that will disagree with that, but I think that the majority of moral, sane, happy, value-added people, results-driven and oriented people on society would agree with me. So then I asked myself, well, why is the response so disproportional? And it's either A, they're just doing it for views. They're just doing it for clicks. They're doing it to just drum up some drama shit. Maybe the views are declining over there and this is what they got to do in order to stir shit up. Or B, they are genuinely very upset, mad, and angry that I have chosen to distance myself away from them from a platform or a business perspective. It's like she's more mad that I distanced myself away from the platform than I was mad at the doctor for throwing my right nut away. This shit kind of reminds me of some Modern Woman shit, like you break up with a girl.
Notice he taking the long way around town to get to the point of the main issue because, see, family, this is a part of the problem with people that are considered highly intelligent. They don't know how to get straight to the point and deal with the issue because, see, her coming out there making those statements that she made about this brother's situation with cancer, that further proves what a white supremacist that she is and an anti-black racist, because if they were really cool, if they had respect for one another, by the end of the decision, they're going to go their separate ways, whatever he decided to do. None of that would have came up. And for those of you that saw how she was making those statements with a little goofy ass producer, that just doubles down on. But see, he's taking a long way around instead of addressing that issue. You see what I'm saying? Listen to overanalyzing things that are right in front of your face. You call them what they are. But see, him, unlike most of those Sambos over there, they have a hard time doing that. We're going to get to why that's such a big deal here in just a couple seconds because we almost done here.
And in response, she keys your goddamn car. So that's the contextual environmental situation that I think all men need to understand before responding to somebody. Because when I think of the environment, I just think of, well, it's disproportional response. There must be an emotional factor that is playing into the way that they're choosing to do this. So after the environment and the background gets assessed, the next thing that you have to assess is the people within it. The first person that I'm going to talk about is Pearl's producer, the one that brought up the comment that said one nut. And guys, understand this, is that there is nothing that I've said on my platform in the 1,300 videos that I have on this channel about someone that I would not then say to their face. But men, understand this. It is not masculine behavior whatsoever to say things negatively about someone from the comfort of your monitor. And in fact, meeting her producer in person, he is the exact same type of person that I would expect to punch below the belt, no pun intended. Because certain types of men default to toxic feminine behaviors such as being passive aggressive and throwing ad hominem attacks, doing sign language, shame and insulting. Because in reality, that man cannot compete with you by any degree and measure of masculinity in reality. So in reality, I think to myself, how could I ever be mad at this guy or anything that he would ever say about me when in fact, I pity him. Once you transition in your mind why certain types of people would undercut or go so low, then it's super easy to remove any emotional baggage that you have towards the way that they treated you. And instead it goes into a logical state of pure apathy. Now on to Pearl for choosing to laugh at my particular situation. Pearl, I have nothing personal against you. I made a business decision because you've demonstrated recklessness. And the way that you've handled this situation on that live stream demonstrates exactly why it was a great idea to distance myself from you. Gentlemen.
Notice that he said it was just a business decision. I have nothing personal against you. See, let me tell you something. For me, it would have been both. It would have been business and personal first and foremost. When you say that slavery for my people was embellished and you sitting up here kikiing and cacaing with a white supremacist, even if I didn't, if I would have found out about it after the fact, like he's saying he is. You see where I'm going with this? I'm going to say it again. You better watch these people on YouTube talking about the business end of YouTube and all this other stuff. Because they throw integrity out the window. And I'm going to say it one more time. If Jason wouldn't have put that out there, this guy would still be dealing with her, man. I'm going to go a step further with it. Let's just say someone else did put it out there. They would not have broken down things the way that TBA did. And he still be dealing with it. They wouldn't take it serious. I stand on that. I know that for a fact. But see, we're going to get to something here in a minute. Because see, like I said, I got a point to make about why you can't play with people like this. Again, I don't agree with the statements that was made towards his medical situation, but this is still a coon. Let's let him continue.
Listen to me. Never judge a person, and especially a woman, off of when you up, when you good, when everything is peachy keen, when you got no issues in the world. You need to understand how this woman will treat you if shit just wasn't as good. If you're sick, if you're ill, if you lose your money, if you lose your assets, how will they treat you then? I think many men, especially in Western culture, need to do an experiment. And that experiment is take 3 weeks off of work, but tell your significant other that you got fired or that you quit. And see how they treat you weeks 2 and weeks 3. You cannot judge a person when times are good. You judge them when they meet adversity. And let me also say this. It's one thing to throw ad hominem attacks, which I, always tell you guys on the channel never to do. It's one thing to talk about someone's looks. Oh, look at his eyebrows. Look at his nose. Look at that big nose. Oh, look at his big lips. Look at that beard. It looks fake and shit like that. But it's another thing to talk about cancer and to follow up and laugh about it. I think it's completely sick. But she'll probably say things like, oh, I'm a bit awkward, guys. I laugh when I'm uncomfortable. Guys, did you see the original video? It was taken completely out of context. And my response to that is that accountability is kryptonite for the modern woman today. They will never admit to doing wrong, and they will never apologize for their actions. That's why I tell you guys so often on this channel to judge women by not their words, but specifically their actions. Indulge me for a quick second. Let's just switch roles. Let's say that I had a live stream, and let's say I had a female host, and the female host brought up that Pearl is called one breast because she had a previous bout of breast cancer and had to get one of her breasts removed. And I laughed right after that. You know how quickly cancel culture would move in order to disband me from the internet? And my response to that is why is there not the same energy when it has to deal with a man? To have a platform where you say you support men, but to laugh at a man regarding his cancer struggle is like a corn star winning Virgin of the Year. It makes literally no sense. To end off, guys, as men in our society, we go through a lot of pain. We go through a lot of struggle. We go through a lot of shit. But women like Pearl will utilize our pain, hurt, and struggle in our modern day society today without having true empathy for it and profit off of it. To all the men out there, to all of the cancer survivors, to all of the family of cancer survivors, I take full accountability for previously working with the Just Pearly Things platform and network. I cannot change the past, but I'm going to do my best in selecting the best representatives of people to work with in the future. Or shit, maybe I just won't even do collabs at all in the future anymore. All right?
So now, that was his response to Pearl disrespecting him. Again, like I said, you want to see what she said, she still has that up because those comments were despicable. Let me say this. If you over there in that Black Manosphere space after what she did to that brother right there, who is a coon, and I'm going to stand by my words, then you really don't have no integrity at all. Don't claim that you are a brotherhood of men that stick together, because see, if that's one of your guys over there that you really respect like that, you would immediately stop interacting with her to send that bitch a statement. I'm not a part of the Black Manosphere. I'm just speaking on integrity. And see, let me tell you my issue that I have with him tap dancing around the fact that he didn't get back to doubling down on her being a white supremacist and an anti-black racist. We saw what just happened with Mauricio Garcia, who committed that mass shooting over there in Texas. I know you all know by now that he was a listener of Just Pearly Things and quoted Nick Fuentes on a show before they had to take him up out of there. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because family, I don't care whether it's MTR Obsidian or any of them buck dancing sambos over there that's got the cape on for Pearl and playing footsie with Nick Fuentes, I can't have black people like that around me that don't recognize a damn threat for what it is and call it for what it is. Do you understand me? We are in a critical time over here in this country. We can't afford to play with these people like this. You understand? When you see something, you have to call it for what it is when it comes to racism and white supremacy. Let's look at the statements that Mauricio Garcia made, who identifies as white, by the way. And you know what? Before we read those statements, let's go ahead and prove that. Let's get that out of the way, okay? Let's go ahead and get that made clear. Yeah, let's go ahead and make it clear. This is an old arrest photo of him. And as you can see on the screen, he identifies as white. So there are no brown people. You understand me? They're not going to be allowed to hopscotch in and out and play racial hopscotch when it's convenient to them. You see right there at the bottom of that, he identifies on race as white, like most of them do on their paperwork, etc., okay? This is a Hispanic white supremacist that committed that mass shooting before they took his ass out. Just want to go ahead and get that out the way for anybody to try to bring it up. He Hispanic though. See, you got some people that just not gonna make it, man. But see, let's read an excerpt of what he said here, okay? This is the departed Mauricio Garcia, white supremacist, white Hispanic. Hell, Nick Fuentes says something like that while he was on the Pearl show. He wrote, I think I even read in the news, Hispanics could be the new white supremacists. Just the other day, this black dude told me the line is blurring. He can't tell the difference anymore. Someone would look white, but they're actually Hispanic. No, you white Hispanic because you historically fought for the right to be classified as such. And I'm going to call you what you fought to be classified as. See, those of us over here in new black media spaces, excuse me, those of us over here in new black media spaces that don't play games with this stuff because we recognize it for the threat that it is, we're going to call it what it is. We're not going to let them play this game. He was Hispanic as if they don't know what a white Hispanic is on the census, on their ID, and on their paperwork, okay? When they arrest them, they book them in as white. That's what it is, okay? So I don't care who it is, mediocre tutorials, whoever, any of them buck dancing clowns over there that want to play with that, when they're in the presence of white supremacists and want to put the cape on for them, no, you better think long and hard if you have people in your life like that around you, okay? Because that's dangerous. You think about being on that subway situation where Jordan Neely was murdered by that cowardly white supremacist, Daniel Penny. Those of us on code would have rushed to help him. Those of us off code, they would have helped the white guy. Hey, what are you doing, man? That's a criminal. You see what I'm saying? I don't play games with these people like that, man. So that's my standpoint on it, family. You know I was going to break it down from the A to the zero. So it's on them what they choose to do or don't do. But I know one damn thing. Pearl is not going to be allowed to declare what's a pro-black space. The Black Manosphere themselves will tell you that they are not a pro-black space. They'll tell you they're pro-black male, but not pro-black as a whole, okay? That's the main thing I wanted to clear up here with that tonight. So I had to bring it to you straight, family. You know I don't sugarcoat things. I tell it like it is. And see, we're going to read the further statements that was made by Mauricio Garcia. Other posts include photos of weapons, ammunition, espouse bigotry toward women, Jewish people, racial minorities, mainly black folks. Among them are photos of men and women giving Nazi salutes with the caption, "My kind of people." Pinochet did nothing wrong, reads a line of text beneath a picture of brutal Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet, okay? In a handwritten notebook entry dated July 11, 2022 and posted to the account, Garcia says somebody told him he looks like the type. Hold on, let me bring this better down because I want y'all to see this. Y'all to see it. He looks like the type to walk into a crowd and start shooting. Family, let me tell you something. If you don't take nothing else from this broadcast tonight, you better understand that we don't have time to play with these buck dancing sambos about the threats amongst us. It's not just a difference of opinion when you're in the presence of a damn white supremacist. You don't make and play jokes about it. You don't cover up for them. You don't sit there trying to overanalyze shit. You call the damn threat what it is, okay? If you know, that's your life you playing with. So family, with that said, we're going to bring the broadcast to a close. Salute to everybody that contributed to the broadcast over here tonight. I hope everybody was able to learn something from this. And again, family, make sure you keep your head on the swivel out there. Take care of yourselves. Black first. I will see you all in future content.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I'm inviting you to the Foundational Black American Expo going down May 27th, 2023, right here in the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. It's going down at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and this is an empowerment event that you can invite the whole family to. We're going to have seminars and workshops that discuss things like business development, education, health and wellness, self-defense, and some of you businesses out there, we have vending opportunities where you can promote your businesses. Plus, we're gonna have so many phenomenal speakers and guests. We got people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, who's coming down, Professor James Small, Sister Vicky Dillard, Riza Islam, Dr. Kaba Kamene, Ben X, Jehudi Mayad Ra, Erica Lachey, Red Pill, Blue Pill, so many people. So yo, get your tickets now at FBAexpo.com. That's FBAexpo.com. We will see you here.